Everybody, welcome. our team of professionals. Hi, I'm Commander Pulsar. Welcome to Denari's Half Dozen, and hope we're gonna have a good time. We're having a wonderful time over here. It's a game from Pelgrane Press. It is a swords and kind of sword and sandal, Conan-esque, Lankmar-esque, Elric-esque. I think about the things that end in esque, Arabesque. I don't know. Sort of fantasy game using the gumshoe system, the same gumshoe system that is used by Knights Black Agents, Time Watch, and a lot of other amazing games. And I have a fantastic crew to help play it. The game is shipping now, so I'm just anticipating having an actual book in hand. We've been playing with wonderful PDFs provided by the company. There is a code that will be in chat. If you'd like to get a preview copy or a book headed your way from Pelgrane Press, you can use this code, get 10% off of that. So yeah, the setting of Swords of the Serpentine is the city of Eversink and the world around it. Eversink is a city-state protected and watched over by the goddess Denari, the goddess of commerce and civilization, based on the contract made with the citizens 1,000 years and about 2 weeks ago, to protect and provide for the citizens in exchange for worship. In which case, she raised up the islands out of the estuary of the river Serpentine and separated it from the swamp, and they have built on it ever since. It's called Eversink instead of Denaria, which is what the city's original name was, because the buildings do. Just slowly, about once a generation, each building drops by about a story. And it just is. It is what it is. You don't use the basement anymore. You build a new level on top, and that's your new office and stuff like that. Rooms get repurposed. It's all good. You know, it's once a generation, right? So the kids can get the next story or whatever. It varies from house to house. Anyway, the other thing to know about the city of Eversink is there are statues everywhere of everyone, because as long as there's a funerary statue made of you, you go to heaven. So that's one of the rules. And if your funerary statue gets broken, well, that's where people like PAX come in. So that's where I'm going to start introducing players and people, because PAX played by Aki, and we'll let Aki introduce themselves.
Okay. I get here and now I can't remember anything that I'm supposed to say ever. Every time I sit here and go, hello! And then it's just an error message in my brain. Hi, my name is Aki, pronouns she, they. I play Pax, the very spiritually insightful individual who also uses she, they pronouns. Am I missing anything? My brain's not 100% here. I'm getting spammed at the moment, and I need them to leave me alone. You're going face down, so. Okay, sorry.
That's all good.
I don't know.
Who's next? We use popcorn initiative here. We use elective initiative. So whoever goes gets to pick who gets to go next. So.
Okay, Stephanie.
Hey, I'm Stephanie Allen, pronouns she, her. I'm half of Charm Person Games, professional game masters for hire. And tonight I am playing Lady Adarin Ligorio, also she, her pronouns. And Kitty, let's go with you.
Hi, I'm Kitty. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Riona O'Kieran of the Fontavni, who also has she, her pronouns. Your turn, Cole.
Hi there, I'm Cole, aka Ice Cold Brew. I am playing Alwyn, a sorcerer of the statuary, ghosts and spirits, and maybe something extra. We don't know yet. And, yeah. Throwing it back over to Pulsar.
Yeah, we haven't seen it work yet, so that's fine.
Progress.
I get. Should we introduce our disembodied voiceover producer, or should we skip over
that? Skip him.
Brandon's great. Doesn't want to be dragged in front of the camera. So anyway, welcome. So speaking of the cameras, I have to kind of start with kind of a long shot of Eversink. I do a lot of cinematic description, and this is no exception. Kind of that high shot, kind of helicopter shot like you'd get of New York, only it's kind of coming down through the clouds, and you see the city of Eversink. Very much a New York in a sort of fantasy style, with tall buildings and things like that, where several stories are tacked up, and is very cosmopolitan. There are the northern northern sort of island. Some of these are kind of separated a little bit by a little bit of water and river. There are canals everywhere in the city because it is built in an estuary. But some of them are wider, and there are bridges connecting everything. And a harbor approach, there's lots of ships and things in docks. But kind of as we look, we realize that this is kind of a time lapse, that things are moving quickly, that if you look at it, it's kind of one of those things that are sped up. Only in this case, it's sped up in reverse because the buildings are kind of slowly rising out of the water until the top layer is taken apart, and so on and so forth. And as you see, it kind of gets faster and faster, and the buildings are smaller and fewer. Some of the islands, the area of Sag Harbor, which is mostly built in piers, and when we start this little time lapse, is mostly destroyed, and then it kind of appears briefly for a second, and then kind of fades away as Sag Harbor is no longer established. We're moving farther back in time to a point where there's almost no buildings on the island. And then we get to a point where there's a bright golden flash and there aren't any islands. They just sink into the swamp. And the camera kind of moves past that, turns towards the River Serpentine, and moves inland towards another kind of shining city on a hill, a plateau that is covered with cities and buildings in kind of an arabesque style with lots of ornamentation and statuary as well, only this statuary is less human and more Ophidian, more serpentine. There are large statues of beings holding spears with kind of big cobra-like hoods and temples and things. And kind of in the distance, Shadow of Colossus-like, you can kind of see these large demonic shapes, really, of shadow and fire kind of dragging chains and weapons around the perimeter of this plateau. And the camera kind of comes in on one of these temples where there is a Naga-esque figure kind of behind an altar, a podium, kind of someplace where there are lots of books. There are tables of books around, and I'm sure the point of view character, Darren, is trying to take as many notes on all the Serpentine writing as possible. But anyway, what is this vision? I've got to write this down. Anyway, but this sorcerer is apparently doing some kind of research and spell stuff, and almost looks up at the camera and says something in a kind of hissy, I don't want to call it parcel tongue because I don't want to give that person any airtime, but it's a very serpent-esque language, lots of hissing, and I suppose you'll get that very kind of, I want to say, got Netflix caption typeface of I see it's time, and then we go to credits or whatever credit song Denari's half dozen has and stuff like that. So, and just kind of moving forward and coming back to the city, and it kind of fades in. You can kind of hear the sounds of the city before the camera comes in, of carts moving, people hawking wares in the background, and maybe in the distance is the sound of seagulls and things. You're never very far from the water anywhere in Eversink. And I think we kind of focused on Riona doing her usual thing of getting from place to place in the city, from rooftop to rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
Riona the Von Tavni is more used to the plains and spaces, and there's just way too many people on street level. So yeah. And it's exercise, right? So, and I guess the unusual thing here is you kind of getting towards the neighborhood where Pax's parents' bakery is, and there is a little commotion on a rooftop that's across the street from the bakery, of just a couple of people that appear to be just quietly putting another person into a sack of some kind. They're not, I mean, the other person is probably a body because the other person is limp and not resisting, but the body looks very odd. It's not, it's not 100% intact. There are growths, there are things. Let's see, I know that you have, you've got some, what is it, leech, it's not leechcraft. What is the medicinal, God,
Leechcraft.
I don't know now.
And leechcraft, yeah.
It is leechcraft is the investigative ability.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, something has killed this person. And when I say killed this person, gender is difficult because there's not as much of them as you'd like to be intact. It looks like, and somebody let me know if this X card's for them, but fungal growths have, from the inside, consumed this person. Kind of a, yep. The point that, yeah,
My bad.
the largest, the largest has kind of exploded their skull and grown out that way.
Lovely.
Yeah, so but that's what you can tell from basically where you are a couple buildings away, unless you'd like to get closer and investigate. But
yeah, I'll go ahead and get closer.
okay.
When I am within earshot, I'll call over to them, like, what happened here?
They actually don't respond and turn. It's just like, and turn creepily in unison.
Of course.
It's just, they all just, and just,
I'm gonna keep
Okay.
approaching.
Sure. It's basically, yeah, they appear to be locals, and just kind of, they don't say anything and just kind of keep stuffing this person into a sack. This is not, you've met the people who pick up corpses in town. We had to deal with that a little while ago when somebody was taking their place and stealing the corpses to turn into a giant flesh monstrosity.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
That the party defeated. But you know what the people who pick up the corpses are, some of them are like anyway, and these are not that. They have a cart, they have, they have means to handle this, they kind of have uniform clothing. These people look like they just left whatever they were doing. One of them's wearing an apron, and they kind of turn, and two of them pick up the body and go to throw it off the roof, and the other turns calmly and mildly to say, "I'm sorry, how can we help you?"
What happened here?
I don't know what you mean.
Are you sure you wanted to say that and throw that body off the building?
What body?
Uh-huh. What happened?
They kind of, there's a moment where they kind of look at you and shake their head and like, oh, geez, I'm too close to the, they sit down. This guy sits down. I'm really not good with heights.
So you don't get that you don't remember how you got up here.
Where's here? And yeah, did you bring me up to this roof?
No.
Are you robbing? Because I kind of starts feeling for
I don't want
pouches,
your money. I don't need your money.
Okay.
How did you get here? Do you know how you got here?
I presume I was dragged here by you and some accomplices?
Nope.
Okay then.
If you look off the edge of the building, just careful, don't fall. You see that sack down there?
Edge of the building? Then I'll take your word for it.
Okay. There's a sack down there with a body in it. You guys put the body in it and threw it off. And you're telling me you don't know what happened.
The woman with the apron kind of looks over the edge of the building and is like, I don't see a sack. Am I supposed to see a sack? I I was preparing chicken. I don't normally prepare chicken on the roof.
No, not this kind of roof.
I really need to get back to my house.
What's your name?
Dang it, players. What's your name?
You don't have to come up with names right now,
No,
but
it's fine.
Rihanna will get their
name's-
names before she
her
lets them
name's-
leave.
Her name's Margot, and yeah. No, trust me, I'll get it. I'll make my notes, dang it. No, and the guy who's scared of heights is named Tore, Tore. Clearly Camian.
I feel like I should be writing these down too.
I will put them later in chat or notes.
Awesome.
But anyway, and their friend, their third person, who they don't appear to be friends at all, is named Rydar, Reidar. All right, there we
Okay.
go. Anyway, but yeah, so should you let him go? All right, and kind of looking over the roof. I guess, are you gonna, like, she says that, yeah, Margo says there's not a, there's supposed
Yeah,
to be
I'm gonna check because I saw one.
Okay, did you? They say gaslighting you
Pretty
horribly.
sure.
So all right, fair enough. Let's see. I think that with I will say with tactics of, I'm going to probably use tactics of death here, that you pick out the movement and it's not there, but you see what you think is somebody has dragged it off, and you think you see them like about a block away turning a corner towards the canal. Maybe.
Okay.
I would probably, it's if somebody with vigilance would probably get better results here, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Is
But
Pax like
that's
her
all right.
family's bakery?
Probably yes. Almost certainly, because 2 of your siblings are sick, really sick, as in not come to work sick. They're
We're at 2 now. Because there was
yeah.
one at the start.
It was one last week, but some
This
time
is-
has passed, so.
Oh no.
Mhm.
So Rihanna's gonna go back to Pax's
Sure.
family's bakery.
Yeah, I feel like it was basically, you were almost one of those, I'm gonna drop down onto the I'm kind of picturing this. I do have a very turn of the century New York thing in my head, because I'm picturing them having like the
Fire escape ladders?
the fire escape things, only they're wooden. They're they're wooden, and a lot of people have built like little tent shed apartments almost off of them, kind of thing, because the city sinks, and really basically no one wastes any space in this.
Yeah.
Buildings are almost fuzzy if the owners don't like put some effort into clearing that off, kind of thing. Like, you won't find that in the houses of the wealthy in other parts of the city, but in the foreign district, it's a thing. And just basically people just like either deal with it or don't. It's like, I'm gonna, you make a note, it's like, oh, so and so lives off the fire escape on this building in this part of they make great pierogies, it's fantastic. Just get them in a kitchen and and enjoy it. They're probably not actually called pierogies, but it's the same. Like I said, there's parallel foods.
Similar concept.
I mean, yeah, it's a similar concept of like a dumpling with cool stuff in it. Yeah, like I said, every culture has some sort of fried bread.
Mm-hmm.
Period. But yeah. So I getting into Pax's place, and yeah, her I feel like your mom, Pax, is probably more frustrated that your siblings are sick than your dad is. Dad's just kind of like, it will be fine. We'll make it. It's fine. Look, everyone's got their own business going on there. We'll, because a lot of the stuff they're baking, not to necessarily make money, but there's still people that are starving and don't have anything right now. So there's a whole lot of business in that kind of mode. But I need to make sure that I've got this. So I had my list of your relatives.
I was also pulling up the list of my relatives.
Right? Okay. Everybody's got a big family in this game, except Alwyn.
Except Alwyn.
Rihanna doesn't
except
have
Alwyn.
a family either.
Alwyn, well, in a way, Riona does, because Riona's whole neighborhood is part of their family. So
Technically.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, not blood relation, but there's the number of people I have to keep track of.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's there we go. Let me find, where are you? There? Yay, found it. Cool. So, and I believe it's Cam and May are both sick.
Okay.
And I think, if I remember right, May was sick last time, and have largely recovered. And like May and your father, Ka, are both arguing with your mom, Kim, about May wants to come back to work. Kim wants her to come back to work. Ka does not, because you're still not 100% recovered. I can tell from your cough.
Coughing everywhere, stop it.
And May is like, I'm not not sick. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Pax takes whatever they're working on and just kind of slides it a little bit further away and keeps working. No.
So yeah, this is the kind of conversation that you walk in on, Riona. And so, okay, this little bakery, I'm trying to really kind of picture how this almost Renaissance era bakery would kind of work, because it's not going to be like a modern behind the counter bakery kind of thing. It's very much an open space, because there's not really that much of a reason to separate the wall. I imagine there's probably like just baskets and things where the bread and pastry and things like that are kind of put into, so that people can like purchase them, or at least come in and say, I need this, this, and this, and this, and this kind of thing. Because I'm thinking like I'm in sort of the sense that Western general stores do not look like convenience stores. It's more of, there's a counter and you walk in with a list and tell the guy or tell the person, I need this, and then they go pull it together and kind of bring it up to the front. It's kind of that same sort of thing as go in and I want kind of this. There's not necessarily like a display cabinet where you can go, oh, look at all these pastries. It's just kind of a, we have these things, what would you like? And it's kind of, there's more talking and negotiation and like personal interaction than standing behind the counter and waiting to ring somebody up kind of thing. So I mean, basically is there a little bell on the door? Is there chimes? I'm thinking maybe some kind of like chime or something when somebody comes in the door, just to
I imagine almost like not to be terribly cheesy or anything, but like almost like a bamboo wind chime that just gets hit by the door as it opens.
Yeah, okay. And
it just kind of clunks together.
We don't have to completely avoid cheese. Cheese is delicious. So
I do enjoy some cheddar.
So there you go. So yeah, it's like Riona comes in with a probably fairly familiar with the of the chimes, and so that kind of causes the quasi argument to just kind of turn into just that pointed last.
We'll finish
glare.
this later.
Yeah. The whole here's my retort and my parting statement. It's like and Kyle's like, oh, it turns out, oh, it's Rihanna. It's Rihanna. Does he get your name wrong? It's Riona. The Riona of the Von Tavni.
I've caught it a couple times at the start. Just
I mean, so because I imagine
probably quite different.
But because I imagine that have they in the past kind of picked your brain about Von Tavni, like food and bakery and things like that? Because I know that Ka wants to kind of make the family bakery into sort of a kind of an international house of baked goods, I guess. For IHOBG doesn't really roll off the tongue, but
I was waiting for that.
But you know,
IHOB is the International House of Bread.
There you go. IHOB. God. Yeah, I'm writing that down. Sure. That'll be in somebody's fan art somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, but that, you know, you're in the middle of the foreign district, that you're gonna, if you can do at least make an attempt at everybody's kind of cultural baked delicacy, then you know you're gonna get some of their business. So I have his wife Kim is the real chef here. So has that been a, will you sit down with my wife? You know, is that kind of, is that, well, I guess I'm asking is, does Riona have a relationship with Pax's parents beyond knowing them
being Pax's parents? Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess all right. Fair enough. So it's like, oh, Riona, hey, you know, kind of, and like hands you some baked goods, something Von Tavni-ish, like probably maybe something with like sweetmeats in it or something like that, like a sweet sausage roll or something. Yeah. They're not straight out of the oven, but they are relatively
it'll be good
fresh.
later.
Yeah.
They're always good later.
Yeah, it's kind of wrapped up in like probably like a wax cloth kind of like in one of those beeswax wrap kind of things. You can put he puts like a couple in there and like, here for you. But
so Riona's gonna set that aside for the moment because she brought a fairly large basket that she was carrying on her back of assorted produce. Some of it might or might not actually be in season. Don't worry about it. Which she is going to give them.
Nice. Like, oh, you are too kind. This is Kim. Come look. And Kim's like, oh, hey, thank you so much. This is you're too kind. Please, by all means. And she's like piles more bread in here. Like Well, partly because, you know, again, charity's not okay with Denari, so some kind of exchange happens, you know. But it's like a friend of, and as long as there is an exchange of goods, how both sides value those goods is entirely up to them. It's just the exchange that is part of commerce, right? Same reason.
Bread, I'm giving them produce. There we go.
Yeah. Don't ask how much. Doesn't matter. It's not your transaction to worry about. It's, you know, it's like when you buy your first car from your parents for $1 or something like that. If that's ever happened to anybody, it's like, you know, I'm going to sign you over the title, but it has to be a commercial exchange. So give me $1, kind of, you know, or at least that was my dad anyway. But now it's your responsibility. Haha. Oh, crap. But anyway, but yeah, so there you go. And yeah, so you have a basket to put all this bread in. So it works out.
And then I'm also going to be like, Pax, I need your help.
Pax
if
is
you
like
are able to get away.
And then sends it off to passes off the whatever they were fixing to the nearest non-sick sibling. This is like,
which was basically just Lynn, who's like, I'm already okay.
We're back in a little bit. Just 1 second. Then just
hopefully a little bit. I don't know.
looking over, dusting flour off the hands. Just okay. Yeah.
I have a problem that your particular skills are needed for.
Okay.
Does Pax
And I
immediately
saw
look around
something
behind her to
weird.
see if there's a ghost or
It's not a ghost.
Max is
I'm
just
not
like
being haunted.
like,
trying to be aware for just a moment, just like wait. Oh, other
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 things.
skills. Okay.
Yeah. And I saw something weird on my way here that I could probably use some help checking out.
Okay. And then, like, usually
Sorry.
this is the point where Hex kind of like gently starts ushering them to the door because I imagine
right?
probably Pax's dad is whenever that kind of stuff is brought up, just don't tell me about it.
Oh, I'm
Don't-
not gonna tell
just-
him about
just-
it.
I mean,
Anytime Pax comes home and is like, "Oh, this is what I saw today," just like, please don't tell me.
okay. I was curious if there was like a proud dad is I wonder. I mean, this is outside of character because Pax may not know this, but does her dad, like, when she's not around, just like glowing? My daughter works with the city watch. She's a very
he
important.
is like 1000% said, my daughter's a cop, which is not what she is. He is the dad that would entirely misunderstand it. And everybody's like, okay. No, she's not.
Absolutely, that's so good. Yes.
Why does your
Oh,
cop
yeah,
daughter work in your family bakery then?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
maybe he feigns disinterest. Don't tell me, but yeah, he just kind of like gets whatever he can on the periphery or whatever. Yeah, okay. I do love that. That's super fun. Okay. But I would also say, Riona, that with Leafcraft, you might recognize the cough, and there's a little bit of, she's very pale and the lips are kind of blue, that you would almost has kind of color is sort of is returning. Like I said, has been sick, but it kind of, you get that kind of drowning victim look. Almost, without actually having to go through the part where you've drowned.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
and
that's the worst part.
It's the worst part of drowning is when you drown.
Yeah, I would argue against that, actually. That might be then it's over. But
Fair enough.
one way or the other, I suppose. But no, it's the drowning itself is probably the worst part. But you're to hear first, I guess. But anyway, what am I trying to say? That this is a disease that you've seen in town, not very often, but occasionally, and it's usually not fatal. People get over it. It's there's a little bit of a cough. There's that kind of drowning pallor and kind of a dreamy state where they're just really kind of psychedelic and spaced out for a while, and get over that. But it might have a cough and stuff like that, but just a little spacing out for a while. And it is kind of a flu sickness kind of thing. It happens a lot of times. It's usually, again, it's probably one of the milder things that can happen if you get some canal water, or fall in. But occasionally people can catch this without, maybe it's from somebody else. It's not one where it's not a common disease. It's wet lung is what they call it, because the phlegminess of the cough is very, it's very lungy, for lack of better. I guess, Brandon, we should probably content warning this for talking of illness, but yeah, it's kind of okay. Well, I mean, I would. Cole asked me that I was implying if drowning is contagious, and I would say only if you're all on the same boat. Anyway.
So once we're outside, Riona's gonna say, remind me, Pax, when we're done, to get some tea for your sister. It might help with her cough.
As for a moment, just which? Oh, yes. Okay.
Your siblings who are sick.
Okay.
I have a tea blend at home that can help with that cough.
Okay. Okay, good. Guys, right now it's just Cam and May that are sick.
Hopefully it only stays as them and the rest of your family doesn't get sick. But anyway, there was this weird thing that happened a couple houses down, buildings down from here.
Mm-hmm.
There were some people on the roof. It looks like they're not there anymore. Who were putting a body in a sack.
I can't arrest people.
No, I don't think that they knew what they were doing. It seemed like mind control because I went up to them, asked what happened. They were confused about why they were there. Like, legit confused. So I got their names and let them go. But the body in the sack is not here anymore. And I'm pretty sure it went off that direction. She'll point like where she's pretty sure she saw someone leaving.
Sure.
If you want to check that out, I'm happy to check that out. The other thing I needed your help with is clearing up some corruption for some friends of mine.
Okay.
It was not my doing. Just putting that out
Okay.
there.
There's definitely a moment of hesitation of
Okay. Not me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We're so glad you're awake. I wanted to make sure you knew that nobody picked your pockets while you were unconscious.
Oh my goodness.
That's a very specific denial. I'm not.
It's like, okay.
I need you to clear up some sorcerer's corruption that I definitely did not have any part in.
Nope.
Oh man.
So
but the body thing was closer.
it was closer. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I ran into them on my way here.
Okay. What was the last spot you saw it?
I will take her to that spot.
Okay. So there's a little bit of I'm gonna say maybe you may there's gonna be an athletics check involved that may be a lot easier for Riona than it is for Pax just to get up on the roof. Or we can just kind of role play this. How is this? I guess let's just kind of tell me how this is so much easier for Riona than it is for Pax. At what point is there? I mean, are you kind of like I'm getting almost is Riona like Jackie Chan up a couple of buildings to get to the roof, and Pax is kind of like, yeah.
Riona's also taller
escape,
than Pax.
Yeah.
So probably the handhold that Riona uses is a little higher than Pax can reach without help.
All right.
Pax is gonna drag over a box and then hop on the box.
There's
and
probably a box there already.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the other people getting on the roof somehow.
Fair, yeah, right? They would have to get up there too. So yeah, it's like it's like get up and climb, and then you can get on like the wooden fire escape, kind of like excuse me, and then climb up to the roof. Riona's just kind of like like from on the outside of the fire escape, just kind of throwing herself up to the next, catching it, climbing up, throwing herself up to the next one.
Pax gets to where there's stairs and starts just walking up the stairs really fast.
Like a fair. Yeah, like a normal Eversync person instead of somebody from the plains. It's like, all right.
I'm taking the stairs.
But yeah, okay. So yeah, Riona's up there, like it's over here. By the time you kind of get up to the rest of the roof, and yeah, right up there's, Okay, what kind of evidence are we looking for here, or what kind of, actually, yeah, I'm trying to think. So there's Riona's. I think I know that, and then Pax has and
Also, it's making
All
me
right.
nervous.
I think I think the vigilance there would kind of be helpful as far as spotting clues. There's signs of there've been a couple of people up this way. Clearly most recently a group of folks, because they have kind of made their way kind of down the same way that you've come. Obviously stuff that would have been shoved out of the way, basically, that people might have put something there, and I've got to move that so I can get past up here. But I'm also thinking Riona, Tactics of Death would kind of give you that kind of whole Prince Humperdinck, there was a firefight sort of. There wasn't. Kind of the absence of a fight up here is kind of what you'd get from Tactics of Death. This is a person came up here kind of by themselves. Something happened to them, and then these other people showed up to stuff them in a sack, apparently. And the other thing I would say would be from your sorcery, from plants, that this is very you might find some spungophores. That's the word I'm looking for. Yes, spungophore. Spungophores is my King Crimson cover band. But at any rate, yeah. So I mean that would probably, they would ping in your magic because they're close enough to plant life that your sphere would work on it. Not that they're magical, but just like I feel like that Riona's magic would kind of include an awareness of that part of like the most basic part of that sorcery is knowing where there are plants that you could do magic on, kind of thing. So there,
and apparently
there is
communicating with them.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm sure plant thoughts may not be that complicated, depending on the plant, but yeah. But I mean, it's certainly a thing you can ask. But absolutely, when Riona talks to her plants, it legit works. So But yeah, when you get up there, Pax, the spirit site, there's not any ghosts up here. There's not any sorceress corruption going on as far as that goes. This is the rooftop. The spirit world is here, and as much as it is anywhere, you still kind of can see into that. Honestly, the amount of spirit sight you have, almost hard not to see into the spirit world most of the time. But beyond just the general background radiation, it's not nobody was sorcerously murdered ritually up here or anything like that. That at least if there is, somebody's already completely wiped that clean. Yeah, it's good to know that you can say that about most roofs in Eversink, really, that no one has sorcerously been murdered up here recently. I have to put recently on here though, because the city's 1,000 years old. Every roof somebody has probably been. But the trick there is, if you sorcerously murder someone on a roof 300 years ago, that roof is now somebody's basement. So, because they keep building on top.
Very true.
At any rate. But yeah, you're not getting any of that. But yeah.
That's all Pax is doing. He's just making little noises.
What? This is Pax's
no ghost
Columbo act.
There's no ghost up here.
There's fungal spores, but that's pretty much it.
That in itself is not usual. There's no, because this is a roof. It gets sun. It's not a good place for mushrooms to grow.
Can I tell if it's a dangerous kind of fungus specifically?
Probably wouldn't want. Just fungal spores like it. I wouldn't want to inhale it.
Usually you don't.
I wouldn't want to put it, because it's gonna. If lungs are nice, dark, moist places for things to grow, so yeah. just anyway, but it's, I don't know. I would imagine you'd probably be able to kind of at least identify this isn't a poisonous plant. There are so many different kinds of mushrooms,
Right.
but this isn't one. It's not one that's familiar to you as for something to eat or make into poison or hallucinogenic. I mean, it might be hallucinogenic, but a lot of times the things that are hallucinogenic is because they're getting into your brain and killing your brain cells. So you see stuff for a while, and then
is there actual fungus growing here, or is it just like residual spores?
It's more like when you blow on a dandelion.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like a reproductive, like residual reproductive. These are spores that have landed somewhere that there isn't a viable spot for them.
But there's not actually fungus growing on this roof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There was a lot of fungus growing on that body, so it may have been from that.
I haven't told Pax that part yet.
Yes, Pax is like, where did all this fungus come from?
Fungus. Why were
There's spores from the body. Yeah.
How long was the body sitting up here? How did it get... What?
It was not natural looking fungal growth. Yeah.
Okay. And the body went...
The people who were up here threw it off the roof. And then
It immediately goes and checks wherever.
She'll point to where.
Natural reaction. Looks down in the alley where they tossed in the direction where they. There's still not a sack there. It's still not there.
So someone else was down there waiting for it, clearly, probably, and took it away.
Did you see where they were going, or?
I think I saw them go that way, and I will tell her which way I actually think I saw them go.
So it would be from where you were, kind of north, and then they turned towards one of the canals.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
They probably
and the people up here were not body collectors. They did not look
body
like
collectors don't usually just throw them off of roofs.
No. They also usually have paperwork. These people looked like they came from doing other activities very quickly and without having a chance to change clothes or clean up.
Mm-hmm.
One of them had been cooking a chicken.
It seems like an odd thing to stop cooking for.
Yeah, it does.
Hope the chicken didn't burn.
It
Anyway, we need to go look at
Look for
this canal.
smoke.
We need to go to the canal.
There is smoke all over this city, Pulsar.
Exactly. Let me find the burned chicken. Oh, sure. In a city of 100,000,
The city has a cloud of smoke over it right now.
And it's all burned chicken. It could be anybody.
So I guess back down the roof we go.
I will say that, again, the corpse collectors that you met, those were guys with guts. They did not look like they were not the kind of guys, they were not the kind of contractors that did roofs, let alone, bringing bodies up there. They just, throw bodies off a roof? Nah, we're collecting the body. You can bring it down to the cart. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But okay. So kind of going up that block to where that turn was and just kind of, all right. Let's see if Pax's vigilance. Yeah, okay. I mean, the problem there is at this point it's probably been like half an hour, just from time on the roof and getting down to the shop and talking to the shop and getting back up to the roof and looking around but it's so.
This one long, or does it lead really quickly to the? Ocean.
No, it's well, no, the to pinpoint it kind of on a map that it would probably be this part of the canal here. Make sure everybody's on the landing page. Yeah.
Zoom in.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that, or if I do this and bring everybody over here to where the foreign district is.
Oh, now I'm too zoomed in.
the
That was
closer
almost
up
too
map,
zoomed in.
It's just like, here's this one building.
just one building. Yeah, fair enough. I changed maps on everybody. And we can work on that. I think probably for season 2. Well, I'd like to put us a little note for Brandon. I'll put a little box where people can see what I'm showing on Roll20. Maybe for future. But yeah, it's there's not really it's so much of a canal, but just kind of the space between islands. So it's probably somewhere like right in like up here somewhere, kind of thing. So it's a I mean, I guess that would still kind of qualify as a canal because it's not a canal that you can kind of jump from one side to the other. There needs to be a bridge or something like that. You can swim, but Riona could probably zip line or something, but
Pax could probably zip line too.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Try.
okay, Riona could use her bow to shoot a zip line over, and then everybody could go or something like that. So.
Okay, so when we reach the canal, I want to try to look again. Probably at some point when I asked, like, for any if there was any sort of like what the body, if Rihanna had seen what the body looked like or anything to get that information, and then tried to like look for any spirits that semi follow. I mean, I don't think we'll find anybody that looks like that, but
Sure.
Yeah, if Rihanna remembers, then yes, she would describe the body without the fungus.
Hard to
As much as
get.
you
I mean,
can.
like I say, hard to put a good picture of the face together but
sometimes people know how they died, so Pax be like,
right.
"Does anybody had a
died
fungus
because of
incident
mushrooms?"
recently?"
Right. I would say that experience and vigilance would say that you'd know kind of where the flow of the river was. So kind of like, if the body was dumped here, it's probably going to wash up, at X place, So that's where kind of would maybe go to find. And if that body is as far along as it sounds, it's probably going to float. So
Looking
that's
for a floating bag
yeah, right.
on the route.
Kind of a body-sized floating bag brushed up against some pillar or pile somewhere. You guys could hire a boat at this point, a gondolier or something like that. There are even more people kind of looking for work at this point because again, the city is kind of in disaster recovery mode. A lot of people lost jobs and homes, and there are a couple of boats where you can tell that there's maybe room for 1 or 2 passengers where there used to be room for 6 because the boat owner has got most of their belongings in the back half of the boat and are kind of have tented it over. And you can see at least one. They've kind of tented it over and have a place to. They're now living on their gondola where they used to just use it for work kind of situation. But there are plenty of people you could give some coin to charter that if you wanted to get on the water and look for that.
That might make this a little faster.
But
Also, can Riona sense the fungus on the body?
Interesting. I think maybe. Well, here's my question:
Like within a certain range?
I guess my question is: are you going to take some of it if there's some of that on the roof that you could probably kind of like maybe like compare it? Like this is like that, and there might be a what is the as above so below kind of thing. If you have part of a thing, you have symbolically the whole thing, kind of magical transference kind of stuff going on. Here's me trying to be like magically philosophical here. There's a name for this rule, like part of the whole is the whole or something like that. Anyway, that if which is why you can use a feather to find a bird, kind of, I don't know, that kind of thing, or a photo, or somebody's hair to track them. Anyway,
would she be able to pick up that there's whether or not it's like the specific kind of fungus, that there is a massive fungus in the water at this point?
Oh, how hard it would be to at a distance. I could see maybe that being helpful. I would probably, I think, we could probably, I would say this will be my excuse for you to be able to use wilderness tracking to get clues here. How about that? Right?
Can I use my wilderness mastery?
Yes, absolutely. Because this is kind of the fun Riona plot, is using wilderness mastery in the city. It's kind of a Crocodile Dundee moment, almost, which just amuses the hell. Because one, I thought Crocodile Dundee was a great movie, but I was also like 14, so whatever. I have questions about 14-year-old me's taste. Anyway. But I can absolutely buy that. I'm down with that vibe. So while they're chartering a boat, kind of across town, or at least north of the Foreign District in Alderhall, I guess that's another question. Where would Darren and Oleander go on a date?
Probably nowhere, because she's not going to be publicly seen, unless Oleander is bringing the earring back. That could be a thing for them to meet up.
Sure. That I was gonna say, or is there maybe do you get a note from I have this of yours. It's probably just a very, very formal kind of maybe almost a form letter from the church militant, a note of property recovery, blah blah blah. That
Aaron's now you have a reason to come see me, and then Oleander just sends a form letter.
So, it's more of a it's a I had to file this kind of there's very much maybe even in fact the note is I had to file this. If you'd like to come pick it up, meet me at, and kind of it's there's and essentially it's like a food cart across from one of the church militant barracks in Harbor Approach kind of thing.
I think Darren will be annoyed by this. I told you what to do. I think she'll send an equally formal letter back, requesting that it be brought to her. Kind of flexing muscle a bit, no, come to my estate, let my parents see you.
Okay, fair enough. So maybe this exchange of letters takes place over because there is absolutely some urchin that will carry these these back and forth of it's you want me to take this to Harbor Approach? Okay. Yeah.
Shouty Tommy's found some employment.
Messages Shouty Tommy works everywhere, man. He's the criminal mastermind of Eversink now.
He's very diligent in finding work. You gotta hand that to him.
Tommy's got hustle. Tommy's got hustle. That's all that. But anyway, no, it's very much. So somebody's passing these letters, getting these things back and forth to you. So so there's probably maybe a day or so or whatever, and then there's a formal Tomrin comes in. It's you have a guest now. At the trade entrance. Should I show them into a reception room?
Yes.
Church militant, I believe.
Yes, to a reception room.
Very good. Very good. And basically, coming by. Remind me who else in your family lives in the estate with you? Because I know some of your. Yeah, and. Mm-hmm.
Ira with her husband and her child, so my oldest sister, because she's
Okay.
our like the heir basically. So she's probably
yeah.
never leaving this house.
Eventually going to be my house. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think by the younger of my two older brothers, Zoe.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, I mean,
He's not
there's
married, so yeah.
Mhm. And yeah, so yeah, there's a little bit of yeah, guests from the church, huh? Interesting.
What's so interesting about that?
You don't normally do church stuff much. I mean, what you're required.
Oh well, you know, it did help save the goddess. There was that whole thing.
Okay, bring it up again. Fine. Yes, hero of the city.
Is this Ira that I'm talking to?
No, well, yeah, actually, probably, yeah. It's just, yeah, I was like, yeah, no, I was there too. I recall with the contract.
Yes.
Okay.
The beautiful
fine.
contract that's on display that the people can read and doubles as an advertisement for our very best work.
Fair. You know what our very best work is doing right now is they're asking me to convert a couple of the dye works into laundry facilities for people because they're refugees in our city. I mean, how am I supposed to say no to that? But it's slowing down work. We're having to just stop everything so they can wash clothes. Not that they need someplace. I get
Are
it.
they employed currently?
Where are you going with this?
Hire them. We need bodies. We need people to work. They work in the factory during the day, and at night, part of their compensation is the ability to wash their clothing there. Then we're helping them doubly. They have a job, they have gainful employment, a path to recovery, and they get to wash their clothes. And we get workers that we don't have to pay quite as much.
I think I can pitch that. That's very nice. And it would save us money. I mean, it'd be a situation we still have to, you can't dye clothes and you can't dye cotton for paper in the same place that it's just logistics. I have people for that. Thank you. You have a meeting, I think.
The dye works need to be cleaned every so often anyway, but yes.
Fair. Oh my goodness. We need to have these talks more often.
Yes. What were you saying? I have a meeting?
I believe you do. I won't keep you. I now have some things to work on. I'm gonna start with some paperwork. She's like, I'm gonna start with some paperwork. Anyway, no one likes paperwork.
Make sure that mother and father discreetly know who's here.
I've got to imagine that I know Tomrin told you, and I'm sure someone told Tomrin, and that someone probably told Mother, and you think she doesn't know everything that happens under this roof? I'm sure she's aware.
Make sure Father knows then.
Fair enough. I may mention it on the way if he asks where you are. I'm sure he'll ask me why I'm bustling around, and I can explain, and he asks why you're not.
Please.
I'll see to it.
I need your
see
help
to it, yes.
with this.
What's so special about this? Is this a gentleman that isn't Jarek?
No, and yes.
Well, I'm assuming it's not Jarek because he's not in the church, but are you saying it's not a gentleman? Okay. Cool. Yeah. Is this a serious thing?
Potentially. We need help with spin, Ira.
Okay. Yes. Then I'm gonna get this done, and after your meeting, we're gonna eat, and you're gonna
subtly.
Okay. Well, we're gonna need to meet and talk about this new idea of yours over some sandwiches or something. And if we happen to talk about some other things while we're there, that's also fine.
It's just make sure Father knows who's here, but don't make a big deal of it.
Okay. It's basically where I was going before you told me the thing. That's okay. No, it's cool. We've got an idea for hiring people. I'm gonna talk to Dad about that. Have
It was
fun.
your idea. There you go.
Yes.
Your gift. Your idea.
Sure. Okay. Yes. Exactly. My idea about repurposing our. Go to your thing.
And I will go and meet Oleander.
Okay. Yeah. So you kind of in this reception room and obviously been offered like a chair or something to drink or what. There's like a very, very comfy like leather chair, one of those really nice big stuffed, like kind of a reading room almost kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Little table with like chilled water on it that maybe actually has ice in it, which is there's a sign of wealth right there.
Mm-hmm.
Just has some ice water. And of course, standing next to the chair, like helmet under an arm, shield on the back, sword at the side, gleaming polished armor, and standing probably about a head and a half taller, dark skin, just hair like bunned back and like spine straight. This is Oleander at attention, waiting for you when you come into the room. Like, Miss Ligorio. I'm Lady Ligorio. Yes, exactly. My Lady Ligorio. Reporting we have recovered one of your belongings, and a superior officer of mine saw me recover your belongings. So I had to file a report about recovering your belongings.
Thank
So
you.
I have your belongings.
And I will kind of indicate, because I'm assuming Tomrin's here because you don't go
Sure.
places
Yeah. Well,
alone.
he announced you coming into the Lady Ligorio. Just kind of open the door and kind of stuff.
Yeah. So he'll take it from her and then bring it to me, kind of thing.
On the like other end of a long table or something. Yeah, sure. Or just the other side of the room kind of thing. Yeah, just kind of come and grabs it. He puts it on like a little silver plate and kind of brings it back over. It's that earring you've lost.
That it lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, thank you. I've been looking for this. I was wondering where it was.
Well, in all the excitement around Haven, I'm glad that we were able to recover it.
A minor miracle.
But Tomrin says, "I'll return this to your door box then, ma'am."
Yes, thank you.
He's kind of takes the salver, turns, kind of like elaborately closes the double doors so you're all by yourselves in the room. Kind of thing. And Oleander takes it, so still at attention, helmet under her arm, kind of takes him out, just does the hi bird. I was gonna take you to lunch, but anyway.
Why don't you have lunch with us?
Oh God.
You went through the trouble of bringing me my reclaimed property. You deserve payment for that.
Well, I got to see you. Which is, are they coming down right now, or still fear over the face? Like they're he straightens up. Like, all right, they're do we have a second? I mean, is it all right if I approach? I guess.
And I'll just take several steps closer to her.
It's like, look, I work these houses. I don't. Anyway, it just kind of gets there. It just grabs you and this big hug. Just kind of.
I will hug back very tightly and then but very very briefly, and then take a step back again.
Helmet
so
on the chair. feet. Part of the second part of the hug is the feet come off the ground, so they're just for a second. So she's taller than you are. It's gonna like
Yeah. She's like 6 feet, right? Or taller?
Yeah, a little over 6. Yeah.
Yeah,
she's
and
like
I'm
6'2".
5'1". So
Yeah. Like almost. Yeah, a little over a foot taller than you are. Yeah.
the cutest height difference. I'm just saying.
Yeah. This is gonna be one of those situations where she's gonna helmet under one arm, a Darren on the other arm, just kind of like perched. There's fan art for you.
Love that. Yeah.
But
so
yeah,
then
no,
when
it's just like,
she puts me down, I'm like, not like I'm trying to run away from her, but just like very much like a have to.
Yep.
There's appearances, gotta keep them up.
Yeah, she's just like, okay, I really, really want to kiss you right now.
Wow.
Sorry, is that too?
No.
Because it's more of a when am I going to get the chance kind of. You know what? I'm just gonna. And she just plants one on you.
Okay. I think Darren is like shocked. It's her first kiss.
Okay,
it's her very first one. Yeah.
And
like
it's probably
never...
not it's probably not Oleander's 100th kiss either. So it's just one of those the awkward high schooly kind of just kind of a little bit of a peck
kiss kind of.
It's gonna be a bam, and she's like you kind of freeze up and she's like, oh god, I did something wrong. It kind of straightens back up and doesn't say that, but it has that body language of oh shit, I fucked up.
Yeah, I think Darren's eyes are like really wide. She's like
grabs her helmet,
like at a loss for words.
Like grabs her helmet off the chair where she had set it down to hug you, and kind of like back to attention. At which point your mom comes into the room. It's like I understood there was the church had. Oh, hello, officer.
Mother,
not sure of your rank.
Captain, or did you get
Captain.
your promotion?
I did. Still captain. It's a higher rank and bump in pay. So
Captain Oleander. This is my mother, the Lady Ligorio.
Yeah. And there's a definite bow and no, there's some training on how to behave around.
Oh yeah.
And she has worked places like this. So you kind of can see her kind of go back to the house guard sort of, very much that in the training in the bow and all that. It's like, yes, ma'am. We had recovered some lost property from the events of signing day, and yeah.
Found my earring that was missing.
I was like, very good. I'm very glad, and thank you for returning it. Captain Oleander, and kind of, the bow and it's kind of respect and kind of okay, yeah, very nice. Are you good? Is it? Are you good? How is it? Have we made some sort of contribution in exchange? I mean, obviously, Captain has been put out a little bit for this.
It's
have we
lunchtime.
talked compensation? Oh, interesting. Of course, sure. I mean, I'm sure your father would be interested.
Yes, this is the person who saved my life on signing day. I think lunch is perhaps the least that we could do.
Very pleased to meet you then. Very pleased. Oh, well, thank you incredibly much. And Oleander's like, our job, and happy to do it. Very, very, very happy to have been able to be of service to the family. Lunch sounds delicious. I'm sure it's great.
Jared does stifle a giggle a little bit.
But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's I will let the chef know, and I will corral your father, and it's kind of like let's meet in the dining room, and we'll have lunch.
Yes. perhaps I will take the captain on a walk while lunch is prepared.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah. I'll go. I will go corral your father. I'm sure he's playing with your sister's kids. He's playing with I've got a name. Reese. That's right.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Reese.
It's filed under the. I have your list of
Under Ira,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
It's her husband and her child, so of course it's under her.
Right, exactly. I've got my notes. And my notes have your immediate family, and then if I click through, then I get their family. Anyway, GM notes, guys. Anyway, but yeah. So there you go. You had and Oleander kind of has a little bit of your mother kind of just sweeps out of the room. It's very, she has a presence. It's definitely, she arrives and and exits. There's not your mom just enters. Your mom just comes in the room is not a thing. Your mom enters.
Yes.
So yeah, there's an exit. It's like Tommen is probably listening. I mean, it is a servant in the good servant sense of listening, because as your mom exits, sweeps the doors open kind of thing for her to leave. And then, and then, damn it. I swept my chair back over the edge of my, well, I'm being too dramatic and I couldn't get back up. Anyway, but Tom kind of comes in and says, yeah, there's, I've mentioned to the gardener. So you've probably got a good, I don't know, 30 minutes or so where they'll come back and finish the work they were doing later.
Right. Well, we're going to walk down the lane a bit, I think.
Sure. Absolutely.
The gardener's free to return to the garden.
Excellent. Very good.
And I will lead her out, down to, I think not out the main entrance of the house, but out, a side entrance that wouldn't be weird to take a guest out through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, they've trade entrance kind of thing. Yeah, that kind of, sure.
But with the family going too, so
yeah. Well, it's
not a side entrance, but not the main entrance. So.
Kind of I would say kind of like a business entrance, if that makes sense. That's something good, because Ligorio
houses in Eversink would absolutely have business entrances, so that makes sense.
Where somebody is meeting the family to discuss a deal or something like that, so it's not a formal arrival with coaches and crap, but also not a servant coming in. There's so many doors in these buildings that there are probably various stations on every, and in a generation you're gonna have to build another level and get to decide where that, what station that door is anyway. But Oleander kind of follows. Did you grab her by the arm kind of thing, or
nope, there's appearances.
Fair enough. You start moving and going before Oleander is just kind of what just happened?
What do you mean what just happened?
I met your mom, and
you met mother, yes.
Now we're on a walk.
Yes, and you're going to have lunch with my parents and I, and probably my sister as well, and her family, I assume.
Okay.
My brother might even show up.
Can this walk include someplace I could get a beer?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, is there some form of alcohol I can get a hold of?
You can have wine with lunch.
Okay, maybe a glass beforehand too, so that I don't embarrass myself.
You will be fine.
I'm sure I did not prepare for this.
There's no preparation you could have done.
That's very reassuring. Hey, yeah, well, I might, man, you don't want that. Myself is from Harbor Approach.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I came in the wrong entrance for myself.
Are you putting down the woman I love? Are you insulting her?
No, ma'am.
Good, because I won't stand for that.
Okay. Right, sure, fine. I'm decorated thanks to you, officer of the church militant. That's yes. Okay. Right.
And I think I've been leading her down this a private lane, we're like a
Sure.
walking path kind of thing. It's kind of take you to the next estate over.
Sure.
There's plenty of distance between the two estates by Eversync standards.
Yeah.
But,
by Eversync standards, like I said, Alden Hall is where the ancient nobility have mansions, and these houses have been established for centuries. So this is the space where the city is the least crowded. There are mansions that actually have gardens and yards,
right?
And
definitely more than anywhere else in the city is what I'm thinking. But just not
absolutely.
But it's still probably closer than I don't know, noble estates in England and
the there's
1800s,
not you don't have hectares of land, but the fact that you have any space at all that isn't occupied by a building is probably just something that someone in Temple Market district could be like, okay. God, it's the luxury of just having.
I think it's essentially somebody's driveway, but it's really overgrown and looks like no one's been caring for it for a long time.
Okay, sure.
I'm gonna start walking down there, and I'll say, I hate to pile on while you are feeling nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that we'll have another chance to have this conversation anytime soon.
Okay. Just kind of steal it.
talk?
You can feel her muscles tense. Which is nice, because they're nice muscles, but
You wanted to discuss things.
Okay. Yes, I'm all in. I don't know what the question is, but yes.
I hope that you will forgive me for not simply stating it in plain language, because of the risks it poses to me. But you have all the evidence you need. You have enough evidence to ruin me completely.
What? Why would I want to know? That's no.
Look, listen. I have never been this vulnerable to somebody before. I can count on one hand the number of people who know this about me. And in every single one of those people, I know just as much about them. If, at the very least, if they tried to ruin me, I would take them down with me. And I've also made a point of developing and maintaining the kinds of friendships with those people where neither one of us would ever intentionally and willingly betray the other.
Well, I don't want to betray. I don't
know you outside of your letters. It's a frightening place to be for me.
Almost all of me is in those letters. But I didn't figure you'd want to hear about training or sword play or hunting down sorcerers, or it's not, I don't know, it just felt really boys adventure-y, which was not. I'm trying to impress you with those, so
I'm just letting you know. I don't want you to worry. I want you to be aware. If you will let me, I'd like to tell you why.
Okay.
I did this.
I will tell you something else, that if anybody does come after you or cause them harm, I'll find them and I will cause them harm.
I appreciate that, but
I'm
not sure there'd be
I've
anything
got
left of
I've
them
got
by
a
the
sword
time
and a
we got there.
badge. So
I have rather more.
okay.
I'll leave something for you. How about that?
Please. It's look, it's weird for me not being the competent one in my situations. I'm
sorry,
I'm
are
a
you implying
captain.
that you're incompetent?
No, I'm implying that I'm normally the captain that everyone looks to for instruction, not the someone who'd be taking order. I'm fine with it. Don't get me wrong. At any rate, I offer stance. Olander is basically trying to project a very Waterboy, do you want me to kill them vibe.
And Darren's picking up on it. Well, and I think at this point they're passing by like a pretty large like artificial lake. Like it's very clearly like artificial, like ornamental, like what if the nobility had this installed kind of thing. And there's like a pair of swans swimming on it, I think.
Sure, and the fountain in the middle. This guy, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can across it. You can see a couple of other noble estates at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, kind of. I got you. Kind of in the fake lake in the middle of the gated community kind of thing. Gotcha.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. It's like a property, like to make more space between estates than you would normally get, I think.
Well, it's a property border in that way. Like 4 estates get to say they have a lake on their property, right?
Yeah.
They can each say, yeah, we have a lake on the property. It's in between all of them. Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I like it.
Says, do you want to hear why?
If you want to tell me, yeah. And she kind of like does a little bit of a scan around, like, because she now knows that you have, this is a secret that has to be protected. She's immediately like, okay, nobody have to beat up. So kind of get one of those. Yes, if you feel safe telling me, yeah. If you don't have to tell me anything, really,
No, I do.
The answer is still yes. So
I do. I need to tell you.
Okay.
I need you to understand that everything I've ever done has been for my family's benefit. They love me, I love them, but my parents never intended to have 5 children. And children are very
I know
expensive.
That feeling.
I was a surprise, born years after my next youngest sibling. And
I have 3 brothers, so yeah, no,
2 sisters, 2 brothers, and I'm the youngest. And people know this. They know that the nobility have nothing but our names in our crumbling mansions. We have nothing, but most people don't realize what that actually means. Because the homes, the estates, this land, it's endlessly expensive, and maintaining the appearance of it will eat every single coin you can generate and still need more. Most of this city grows up practically richer than the nobility. I remember when I was 14 that winter, I went shopping with my mother, running errands. And inside one of the shops, I saw this group of girls my own age who were very clearly Makari. They were chatting and gossiping, and they had beautiful clothing, and that was immaculate, and they looked very warm. And I was wearing Padraig's hand-me-down cloak that was far too large for me, and not a style for a 14-year-old girl. And I just watched them. And they left down the street, and they were holding lots of packages and laughing. And I watched them leave while my mother counted out coppers to pay for the single package we were buying.
That is...
There's more.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
All right.
I just need you to know this about me. And I think at this point they're walking down like there's like an open like meadow, but like I think it would be really obvious even to Oleander that it's like it was actually an old garden that's like oddly sparse now, and like it should have a lot more plants than it does, but it's like all overgrown, and there's like giant bushes and shrubs that are very nondescript, and there's like a couple of dead trees that look like they were like pulled out and then like broke or something, and like they're just dead laying on the lawn here. And Darren says, that night I thought about those girls again as I was laying shivering in my bed, because they probably didn't have to ration the wood to last the whole winter to heat all of those rooms. And I thought about them and their very beautiful clothing a few months later, when my sister Gwen came home in tears because she had been mocked for wearing Ira's hand-me-downs from years previously that weren't fashionable even then. And I thought about them eating oranges in the summer, when I overheard my brothers working out a way to convince our parents they didn't like oranges anymore because oranges were very expensive and they didn't want my parents to feel that they had to pay for them. And I thought about them at Ira's wedding because they likely had lots of beautiful jewelry that they could choose from. That was the first time I wore those earrings, and they were only wearable because Salvatore's family, their wedding gift, the most expensive part of it was them repairing several pieces of heirloom jewelry that we hadn't had the money to repair for generations. And I thought about how those girls have probably married someone they love, or at the very least that they didn't despise. And I think at this point they're rounding like a bend in this path, and then like there is just like a giant pile of like rubble and like spikes of ruins, like where there used to be an estate here, and it's just like nothing now. But like there are no loose stones or bricks on the ground anywhere. It's only like pieces that are way too big to pick up and move. And like I think even on those pieces, like if there was a decorative piece, you could tell that there's been some real hasty, unskilled mason work to just like knock off the decorative facade and like leave everything else behind. And Darren just stops and lets Oleander look at this like ruins in front of her.
Now, is this something that has happened recently because of signing day, or is this an older? That's what I figured.
Yep. I thought about those girls and what their lives must be like many times. I stewed in the unfairness of it all for years. But it wasn't until 2 years ago that I decided to do something about it. The fall storms were very bad that year, you probably remember. And one night, I woke to the ground shaking when the Chivari estate was collapsing in on itself on top of the family as they slept. The only survivor is an elderly uncle who had no children. There was no money to repair the estate for him, just as there'd been no money to repair the crumbling foundations for generations. There was nowhere for him to go, and he slept in the ruins until he died a few months later. And every night he watched his neighbors and peers steal everything from this house, right down to the bricks that fell from the walls and the plants from the gardens. Their bodies are still in there because no one was willing to go in and retrieve them. I still have nightmares, watching him wander through the wreckage looking like a ghost while he was still alive. And they just got worse as winter came. Because even now, there are parts of our state that we don't go into because we're not sure of their structural integrity. And the only thing that ever made those nightmares stop was when I went down into the Undercity. And when I put my hands on the first book that I found, I knew that everything was going to be better for my family. And I pay the cost. I make sure I am the only one who pays for it. And they don't know.
Yeah. Oleander is like there's part of that where she's just holding back tears, and part of this, this story is very sad, and she's just like, and then you get to the part, yes, the Undercity, there's an alarm now mixed with sadness, and like, I am very glad you're safe. My experience in the Undercity has not been that good.
I never said it was good.
Well, when we go, there's usually violence, and
I've had my share of that.
We have to put a stop to someone because the goddess needs constant protecting. And but I've never, and then you didn't do. You're not the kind of person that I would have to be called to visit, I don't think. From your letters and from what I know and from that day. Because there would have been any number of ways that you could have taken advantage of that if you were inclined. And you didn't. And I mean, you did everything for the goddess. Short of what your friend did. And I'm really glad that you didn't do that.
The only way this would work is if I did not spit on her blessing.
Well, I've seen that have a cost too, though.
It does.
But you're okay?
It's been largely minor so far.
Okay. And you know what? I don't care. I mean, I care. But I care enough to not care. If that... Hang on. The answer is still yes, okay? And we just had a pleasant walk in the garden, if anybody asks. I've never been here before, so this is kind of... Who owns this? Does anybody... I mean, surely somebody would build... You know what? No, I'm not gonna worry about it.
It's a distant cousin of someone of the family. I think it's still held up in legal disputes. There's like a few people claiming ownership. A distant cousin, one of the Makari claims that it should be theirs for debts owed or something. I don't.
Sure. I trust you. Just said the magic word lawyers, and I'm that's. I'm out. But answer still yes. So no, it's still yes.
Really? Even?
Yeah. Even.
It's important that you realize that we're not all like the ones you encounter.
Well, if you get a third eye or something, as long as it's the same color as the two you have now, I'm still going to get lost in it.
Easy to get lost in black eyes.
Look, you're still you. So, I guess, are you hungry?
If you can say yes to me after even all of that, you can make small talk with my parents.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, look, okay.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. I'm always nervous before battle.
Don't think of it like that.
I mean, I sent you some letters, and now I'm meeting your parents.
Isn't that what you wanted?
Well, no. What I wanted is you, and this stuff. I mean, these are things that are required for that. That's fine. But if you ask me, did I want to have dinner with the Lord and Lady Lucario? No, but I will, because
It's lunch.
that is it's an obstacle in my path, and I will overcome it.
It is an opportunity to impress them. And you're not
Indeed,
alone.
yes. Right, okay.
I was
So
on our
you're not-
side.
Yep, okay. I mean, oh, goddess. She saved your life. If she owes you, if you owe her a favor, now it's good. If I can get in on that, that's...
And you saved her life too.
Not as much, but okay. If I can, then if I'm owed anything, can I just get through this? That'd be great. Thanks, goddess.
This is the smallest thing you will do with them, I promise.
Oh, that's
You'll-
comforting.
You'll be up to it, I promise.
Okay.
Just be yourself. Fathers, and I'll like start giving her like tips on like how
I
to
thought
like
you said I was supposed to impress them, and now you're telling me to be myself? That's
excuse me.
just... Look, anyway, I don't know which fork to use.
It's just lunch. It's not a formal dinner. It's just lunch. We're not gonna even eat in the formal dining room.
You have more than one dining room.
We have a formal dining room, and then we have the family dining room, yes.
Okay, that's I like at least 1.5 more dining rooms than my family had. So, just anyway. No, got it. Anyway. Yes, this is...
Did you have questions about any of this?
I mean,
Is there anything you wanted to know?
I have some questions that I'm not sure I want the answer to, but because I don't need to know, like questions that I don't want to answer when people ask me, like, people you've killed, stuff like that. Don't care. And hopefully,
I mean, I'm not going to ask you who you've killed. I don't want to know that either.
Correct. There we go. That's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, yeah, okay.
You know, if you wanted to know what I could do, or
I mean, maybe at some point. But you don't have to tell me. You've told me all I need to know.
I think I'll like just like hold out an arm towards the tree and
Mhm.
like have like a little songbird come and like sit on my hand. I'm just like it's little bitty head.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's any reason for Eversync to have like a cultural equivalent of Disney princess moment. Oh, great! So you're a Disney princess? No, but
I'll like send it up flying, and then I'll just like to the sky, and I think like a big old hawk comes down at this point.
There's a little just kind of half step away, just gonna. Are you okay? You're talking to them though, not like just creating them, right?
I can talk to them too. These are real birds, though. Yes, I'm not creating
Okay.
birds. But they understand me, and I can understand them. Takes a little more effort, but I can do that.
So if I told a raven to find you, just kind of at random, would they be able to?
I don't know. I don't think
I mean,
so, because they understand me.
Right.
But
Okay.
they do remember what people say. They
Well,
might not
ravens
always
are smart.
understand it, but they could repeat it to me.
Ravens are smart.
They're very smart. Maybe.
Cool.
Likely
Birds
wouldn't
are
know my
cool.
name, but I don't know.
The lady what understands what we're saying is probably narrows it down enough, I'm betting. I don't
Lady
know.
Bird, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, right? So little bird is very appropriate. I see. Okay. Has this always been a thing? Is that why on your crest? Or
Well, it's what my name means.
well,
But
yeah. But I just which is adorable, by the way. Mine's a flower, so
I'm aware. Conveniently, the gardener is working in the garden, planting new flowers that I ordered.
Come on. Did you really?
I did.
You are ridiculous. Okay.
Sometimes.
All right. Sure. All right. Cool. No, that's all right. Birds are cool. And your parents. Okay, it's kind of made it back to the house. She's kind of outside the door.
Giving her like tips on like how to like cozy up to like my father, especially because I feel like he's a lot easier. He's a lot more of the like charming, happy kind of like kind of parent.
And like because he's got that he's got enough levels of the investigative ability, servility. Tomrin has that kind of servant psychicness of like you're kind of approaching the door, and there's a moment Oleander's like, okay, the door, straighten up, helmet again, and just kind of all that. Yeah, pretty much. And as she's like stealing herself, and the door's open, just like on her, it's like, oh, dude, you are,
Tomrin's
it's
very
a
good
skill,
at his
ma'am.
job.
It's a skill, ma'am. You're fine. And yeah, he says, and your father thought it might be more comfortable to just dine in the kitchen, right this way.
Wonderful.
And yeah, it's like this the little kitchen, the butcher block table, and your dad's there, and there's just sandwiches, so there are no forks to deal with, just just hoagies and stuff. And now that you've had that, now that the story has been told, they are not like extravagant sandwiches. It's it's corned beef and some cheese and mustard, and basically there's probably an Eversink equivalent, like fries, as it may, some kind of like potato sort of thing, because potatoes
hush puppies.
Yeah. There you go. Hush puppies is perfect. I was gonna say not tater tots. What would they call them in Eversink? But the little hush puppies is great. So it's little sandwiches, and your dad's there, and it like has kind of shooed the chefs out of the kitchen for a little while. So you saved my daughter's life. And Oleander's like, I did, sir, and shakes his hand. It's like, I did my job. And there is there's that line, your mother's kind of sweeps it, is like, your sister had some kind of business thing, and I'm going to take my plate and take her one as well. So anyway, your mom kind of takes out, like, nods to, gives her dad a kiss and nods, and like, so I understand you're with the militant. And Oleander just kind of looks down at her armor with like the symbol of Denari on it, and the sword and the helmet with kind of like a little swan on the top. Yes, I am with the church militant.
Yeah, recently promoted, and recognition of her superior service.
He kind of looks embarrassed. Like, you're going to tell everyone that, aren't you? Okay. Yes.
You earned it.
Yeah, we don't really make a huge deal out of it, but yes, and I thank you for the letter. And your father's like, richly deserved. Trust me, I would have written the letter if she hadn't already. So, anyway, and kind of, and now that I've made everyone hungry, I'm going to give everyone a chance to go get something to eat, something to drink, because we're going to take our break. And we'll come back in a few minutes. Go get something. Go get a sandwich. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've had a chance to get some food, something to drink, some way to hydrate, and after we, because we've had lunch, and that I feel like that Darren's father and Peter and Oleander get along very well. Kind of, that I don't know, sort of the boys bonding over football kind of thing, in a way. That
yeah, I gave her tips on like, here's what to compliment him on, here's what to bring up, here's the thing that he can just talk about forever. Like, do you like this hobby? Good, that's what you should talk about, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Is your father somebody that did he go to the Sunken Arena? Is he a fan?
Ooh, maybe before he married my mother, but she put it into that, I think.
Okay, so it's one of the, God, he wishes he could go kind of thing, and has no idea that you have a friend over there. Okay,
that I go there.
yeah, it's like, he'd be so mad.
Oh, he would. They all would.
I mean, he'd be mad for you didn't take me. Kind of, that would be his mad. It's your mother be like, I can't believe you've been there and were seen by people, and but.
Yeah.
Your mother would not be the kind of person that would trust Nunzio Garbone's discretion on this. But yeah, and your father would be more like, I can't believe you went and you didn't take me. Kind of thing.
I think the most illegal thing my dad does is like, there's probably like some kind of illegal betting on like some kind of like illegal animal fighting of something. That's probably the most he goes to.
I would be willing to bet your father is probably into canal racing as well, because there is a lot of like racing boats and things like that in the canals and in the area around the city and stuff like that. There's a lot of, because it's kind of like Formula One, or like in like, how they like race through Monaco and stuff, and everybody's like, oh my God, it's actual city streets. How do they not crash? Kind of that kind of thing, only with boats, because now you're going under bridges and you have to get around, the sunken statue of founder so and so, that's in the water, and nobody really can do anything about it, because if they pull it out of the water, it might break. And
he definitely goes to like the legal boxing. I think there's like legal fights that happen. He definitely goes to those.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, there's crab fights. Thank you. Yes.
Oh my God.
That crab has a knife.
Look, this is Baltimore. All right, like I live in Baltimore. Crab fighting is a thing.
Now I'm picturing in Baltimore, crab fighting is where you have people from Baltimore fighting crabs and not always winning.
That also happens too. Look, we get weird about crabs out here, y'all.
Love it. Now I want to see that in Eversink, because crab fighting is like one person in a big tank of crabs. And see who wins.
You see the meme where they like tape a like steak knife to a crab claw, right?
Yeah. The crab has a knife.
Yeah.
But the tangents we get on. Okay. So yeah. All right. So I would say Riona and Pax, that between the two of you, with what you've got going on and kind of knowing where I think that sack with the floating body probably wind up, if you take a boat, I'm going to move everybody back to the big city map, because this one is a little handier. I need to erase the line from signing day. What bad memories that is. But Foreign District, and kind of coming around kind of this way, it would wind up probably kind of in kind of Sag Harbor. Actually, I'm gonna let's do if I shift and ping, I believe, yeah, that gets everybody there. Yeah, isn't that a neat roll 20 trick? That if you, for those watching, if you're using roll 20 and you're a GM, if you hit shift and then ping a location, it brings everybody to that spot. There you go.
That is incredibly useful information.
Right?
It is not written in a tutorial anywhere on Roll20
So,
that
yeah,
I know of. I've been using it for years.
It is a great GM tool as far as, hey, everybody, this is what I need you to look at. Oh, okay. Like, where are you pointing? Where are you pointing? Oh, hang on.
Are you on the right
Shift.
layer?
Yeah, am I on the right layer? Shift and click there, right? That spot. There is, the thing is, this part of Sag Harbor, like I said, a lot of this stuff is just gone or burnt out wreckage because of the riots and carnage after signing day. But in this area where this notation right here is, that's actually where the Sag Harbor Watch House is. And so you guys get kind of catch up and you kind of see the sack, because there are a couple of guys on the city watch who have a boat hook and are starting to fish it out of the water because it's come up near the pier right here next to the watch house. And they're like, sack in the water, what the hell is that? And right, it's the one pulling the longboat. It's like, that's where you're headed? Okay. Kind of pulling the boat along. This is over she's barely out of her teens, but just like all muscle, because just the leg and arm strength to just have like the 12-foot pole. That's how this boat basically moves, is just pulling it through the water. And yeah, brings you right up there. They've kind of got that sack up onto the dock, and right about the same time y'all are hopping out to talk to them, or to, I guess, talk to them. I'm assuming. But yeah, are you going to say, hey, that's our crime scene thing? I mean, you've got
Riona's not. She just needs to make sure that the fungus does not end up spreading.
Yeah, that's what Pax is gonna do. Back up a second. Hold up the little token.
You get the
in a not at all
badge.
police-like manner.
Flipping open your psychic paper. I'm a consultant. I have jurisdiction here. What? But yeah, okay.
Back up a second.
I was like, they look up. What?
Wait,
back up a second. Why? Why are we back? So they start to back. They're backing up. Like, why are we backing up?
There's a fungusy body in there.
Ah, gross and concerning.
Yeah.
What? Is this a church thing, ma'am?
Not sure yet. We're trying to figure that out.
Okay. Sure. But public safety, I will. You know what? We'll try and. Okay, they start kind of. Hey, could start shuffling people. Could maybe let's clear some kind of thing with a body. So public safety, move along. Kind of start doing stormtrooper, move along, kind of thing to give you a little room around. And yeah, this would be Pax's first time seeing this, and this is, I mean, it's obviously a human body, but it's a human body that had some kind of fungal infestation that got ripe, achieved whatever, and there are the rhizomes basically out of orifices, ears, nose, mouth, eyes. The top of the head is kind of like the skull was cracked and to come out that way. The face is not recognizable anymore, like out from under nails and stuff. So yeah, it's
Blah.
I mean, it's still intact, but it is intact in a kind of, again, you've seen bloated dead bodies. That happens after a person dies for a while because gases in the system and all of that. This is like not like boom, boom, like hitting a basketball. This is like solid because there's mass in there. It's icky. And again, content warning for anybody who has a problem with fungal stuff and disease, because that's what this is about.
The body.
But yeah, the
body icky stuff.
Mm-hmm. But this is definitely a dead body that has died
I can't
of.
imagine anybody who's got that alive.
It's, God, one would hope.
At least not for long.
No.
But,
Do I? Again, I'm gonna look around. Do I see any spirits using my sight? Do I see any spirits that look like they're like hovering near or anything?
No, I mean,
This not even doing the little
this
thing.
is apparently somebody who probably had a family that made a statue of them, so they have passed on. But
Well, they're not here, so usually, like, if they die, as we've seen, if they die of weird circumstances, they'll try to find their body, or be at least kind of near it. Sometimes. Given wasn't, but that's gross.
Yeah, that's why I didn't tell you about all of it.
Like that makes me very uncomfortable.
As far as the plants and the spores and stuff go, Rihanna, you could say that probably putting it back in the bag would be actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, I could just close it back.
Just leave it in there.
Yeah. This. I mean, okay.
Maybe don't touch it too much.
I mean, that's yeah. I guess that's kind of a little bit of a tricky proposition. And God, I'm trying to. I'm sure there's some kind of valid filmmaking scene of having just a quiet, like no soundtrack scene of Pax struggling to get the body back in the bag in this kind of really darkly humorous sort of way. But because it's not a body bag, this is like a big like potato sack. Again, this is people that just apparently needed a bag and found one and that was big enough for so it's not the kind of bag that you would put a body in. It's just big enough kind of thing. This is probably a sack for it probably says like radishes or something on it, and but again, it just feels very impromptu, like that these people doing the body or some kind of weird flash mob kind of thing. Like, I need you to get a bag and I need you to and we all meet on this roof and do this thing and you don't have to ask why, kind of, which is unusual. But it occurs to you that some people who deal with unusual. You were talking to them about an aquifer.
They would.
They might.
Is the fungus here does it have any similarity to what I cleared off in the aquifer in the Undercity? Like, does it seem similar?
Well, hard to tell because of the sorceress corruption in that, but yes, in that maybe what you got some of that, didn't you? As far as to compare the two, I think you did get some. I think you did get some of that stuff, and yeah, I think comparing it to it's the stuff in the corruption is almost like a dead version of this. Sort of like the difference between I was gonna say that you've got points in preparedness, so I'm gonna say sure that but yeah, that it's kind of like almost the difference between active yeast and like dead yeast that's been killed kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it in a way but it's also fungus that you're not familiar with. It's like, yes, probably. Saying for 100% certain is not, but yeah, there's a likelihood. I think a likelihood.
There's slight similarity.
Yeah, and enough that you're like, this might be this is maybe a connection. Yeah.
Could I or Pax tell if there's any sort of signs of corruption on the body?
Oh yes, I mean, if there were corruption on the body as a sorcerer, you would be able to tell, and there doesn't appear to be.
Okay.
Doesn't appear like anyone has done this with sorcery.
Because sorcery,
I
I
mean,
could
yeah,
do
no.
that.
Exactly, you're not wrong. You absolutely could do that to someone, and that is one of the
I don't
scarier
plan
ways
to,
that sorcery
but I
can
could.
do. That, yeah. I mean,
Hey,
yeah.
Don't do that.
Well, plant magic is, did they eat any bread with like poppy seeds? Did they have an everything bagel today? Cool. Every seed in that everything bagel sprouts, and they're gonna die from the inside because I'm gonna make a tree grow out of their stomach. Yeah, that's plant magic. That is a thing. Yep.
That's a description they give.
Every
Don't make
sphere
plant
of-
sorcerers angry.
Every sphere of sorcery can kill you. Sorcery is not friendly. Smiles from three. Yes, smiles from 3 out of the 4 sorcerers in the game. Like, yeah, and that one's just over here. Yeah, no, yeah. Think of 3 ways right now I could kill everyone in the city square.
Or I know 3 ways I've almost been killed by sorcery.
Right.
So
But yeah, fair
this
enough.
could be connected to the other problem I need your help with, Pax. I don't know for sure. Do we want to let the City Watch take care of this, or do we want to investigate it? Or I guess the church.
I don't know what to do with this. And just points at the body. But I can help you with the other thing. I think.
Yes, you can. You should be able to help me with the other thing.
Yes.
Probably a little
At
more
least-
than I'm
okay.
helping here.
Yeah. So I think we might let the City Watch at least take care of the body and initial investigation, and if we decide that we want to investigate further, we might do so.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, they're basically kind of keeping they're of course, as soon as they start moving people away, then all the people that are moving away are immediately curious as to what's going on and why they're moving away. So now there's a clear
Can you
space.
slow down
Now
on
there's
the
a clear
highway by an
space with-
accident?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now there's a clear space around you where people are giving you room, but now all of them, refugees and everybody, wants to know what's going on. The taller ones are like, yeah, there's some kind of body in the. Oh God, that's gross. Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know, something growing. I look like potato growing out of him or something. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't. Yeah, I hope they're dead. But anyways, yeah, kind of when you just kind of stop and kind of turn and look at where are those City Watch guys? They're kind of like, oh yeah, kind of come up with yeah.
Falcon,
So
look at this. Be careful.
kind
I
of
don't
kind of
know
over
if
to
it's
you.
poisonous.
Yeah, they come over to Pax. So what's the story, officer?
I don't know. It's not corruption.
Okay,
We don't sense anything up there. But
Good
yeah.
news, I guess, except for that person. They're like,
Not for them.
they hesitate. The watch officer's almost ready to say, not good for that guy. Don't know if that's a guy or not. I can't tell. Not
person?
good for that person.
You can take care of this. I don't know if you should breathe it. I would probably
I would
sleep or
recommend being careful when handling it.
something. She knows more than I do about that part.
Okay,
I don't
sure.
think these mushrooms are poisonous, but I don't know if it will cause problems.
Right.
Don't inhale the spores.
Yeah. Right now, your best guess is that it probably has spored, but you aren't familiar enough with it to know if it will spore multiple times. So yeah. Okay. It's kind of a. Do you have that kind of deliver that information, or is that just kind of more of a just don't handle it kind of?
I think it's just going to be more be careful when you handle it. Try not to breathe in spores. I don't know if it has any more. I don't know if it'll be dangerous.
So don't set fire to it? Probably.
I mean, if you're not breathing in the smoke, it might be okay. But
it's one of those, again, you kind of, Riona's like, well, it depends on whether the spores can survive the fire. If they can, then that's really bad because you'll spread everything. If they can't, then yes, fire is good. Well, but because the other watchman is like, dude, corpse takers, that is their whole job. Let us just turn that over and they can take it to the spires and the sea life can deal with the whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, no, sure. I just want to know how to write this up. He's got his little notebook out kind of things, making tons, found body in water, officer of church, came by, investigated. He gets like this, don't mind. He's making sure he remembers everything. So I'm happy to let him do the paperwork. So, right, sure. Do we need to do anything special about the space? Or can we let everybody back on the dock and
probably it should be fine.
So Alwyn, who are you delivering coffee to in Sag Harbor this afternoon? Or who are you trying to deliver coffee to in Sag Harbor, but there's some kind of commotion on the dock side?
Trying to get my mic working. There we go. Okay, good.
Having all the technical difficulties tonight.
I think seriously. I think the person I'm trying to deliver coffee to is, oh god, I think it's the same people who were like kind of suspicious of me, and I'm just like, I have coffee for you. Can y'all just give me like those 5 pieces of driftwood? I want to make something later. And
I mean,
I guess
sure, yeah. They will happily sell you the driftwood remains of their homes in exchange for coffee. Sure. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, there's some kind of press a crowd and you've got enough awareness to. Riona's fairly tall, so you can kind of see the tattoos and the kind of the glinted kintsugi on the arm, and I know that silhouette. I wonder what the hell they're doing in the middle of this commotion kind of situation.
Hey,
yeah,
Max, Riona, hi. What are y'all doing out here?
The watcher, like
looking at a body.
Oh, hey, can I come see?
Yeah. You can let that one in.
So all the people that several of the people that you've just won back with coffee are now have the what is wrong with this person look on their face again. But all right, yeah.
It's fine. I know them from work.
From work.
Hey,
it is your job.
So I just like throw the coffee over their shoulders.
They're looking at Riona's like, she grows coffee?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, it's like, as a matter of fact, of all the people, yes.
She actually helped me to like revive like 3 different beans that were supposed to be extinct. Like, hold on a second, let me go look at this box. What the fuck happened here?
Like the watch officers are like starting to try to tie the bag closed, and basically all you see are you're taking Pax's word that it's a body, because as far as there are like tubers in a bag, except there's a hand sticking out with like, again, stuff like sprouting out of the fingernails.
Well, I see the problem. Y'all put the body in a bag.
No, someone else did that.
Oh.
And then threw it off a roof.
Yeah. This thing's been through a lot.
Okay. So is that what? God, what's that? What's that smell that's like coming from? It's not just like death. Like we've seen that. That with the
fungus
fleshy thing. Yeah.
Like death in Portobello.
Ooh, death in Portobello.
It's like some of the perfumes I've purchased. I'm not gonna lie.
I want to like saute it with salt and pepper.
I think I just came up with our episode title. I don't know.
I feel like that'd be kind of nasty.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it would.
That's also the point.
Well.
Kind of nasty is part of it, but yeah.
What? Yeah. Well, obviously it's fungus. I don't want to open the body again. What what kind of mushroom is it? Oriana, do you know? Pax?
It's not one I've seen before, so I'm not super familiar with it.
Nothing with the at all.
Doesn't look like it. Wait,
Again, it's not
I'm
something
understanding
I've
you, right,
seen
right?
before, so I'm not super familiar with it. I couldn't tell you what this mushroom is, just that it did a thing. It was explosive. And no idea if it can do it again.
I'm gonna look over at the City Watch. I'm assuming y'all didn't breathe in the spores, right? Like,
No, we just fished it out of the water. And how are you connected to
work.
these?
It's fine.
If they look at Pax, like, okay.
I'm not gonna say they're my they're my parole officer, like. But yeah, based on the general description, would I know anything in Forgotten Lore about weird exploding fungus that spreads kind of quickly?
It doesn't seem like it was sorcery, since Alwyn wasn't there when you were discussing that.
Not my field.
And yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's sorcery because Alwyn wasn't there. Implies Alwyn did it.
Alwyn wasn't on the scene earlier when we were discussing that with Thief City Watch. So Riona is filling Alwyn in. It doesn't seem like it's sorcery, and there were spores at the scene where I initially saw it.
Okay. Do you have like a little sample of it, just to?
Yeah. Don't snuff these.
Yeah, I've got to imagine it's like a little apothecary jars because there has to be it's got to be a little glass jar because it's there's in a fantasy realm we do not have plastic evidence bags, so
Riona wouldn't carry plastic evidence bags anyway.
Right.
And
exactly.
you also said this was in the water. Was it still in the bag in the water?
It was put in the bag on a roof in the Foreign District and then thrown off of the roof and then taken to the canal and presumably thrown into the canal, and it washed up here.
Okay. I'm going to are the people on the Sag Harbor island, are they fishing at the moment?
I mean, they don't normally fish here. This is where the fleet comes back to, and this is where fish is delivered. There used to be a lot of places dockside to clean fish and stuff like that. The fish market has kind of been reestablished, kind of a little north, mostly west of here, where you can actually probably from this point see where most of where Sag Harbor new Sag Harbor is kind of reformed as a flotilla of boats kind of attached to one another, and the fish market kind of is renewed there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some stuff you can see where there's a lot of busy work kind of going on where people are like rebuilding bridges to get from where you are is kind of there's little spits of dry land, and then there's another chunk of island over where the sunken arena is, but in between what used to be buildings on like basically what's left is the burnt pilings, and that's kind of what they're building bridges to. And right now most of these bridges are just where they've laid a couple boards down and nailed it. It's not like whole. So there's a lot more people carrying stuff on poles, which is probably where you've been. One of the ways you've been delivering coffee is just been able to do like, though I can see Alwyn with like bags of coffee hanging off either end of their cane, and trying, because they're kind of, you got this now, they're just the barest footbridge until somebody can actually put together enough time and money to rebuild bridges back to this place where there used to be like wharf side, wide lanes that you could get a cart across. Now most of that has caught fire because the City Watch there's not enough City Watch in Sag Harbor. These two guys are probably like about 10% of the whole City Watch complement for all of Sag Harbor, So it's one of those, and so you have 20 guys trying to put down writing and fire in this whole wide conglomeration of wooden buildings and and stuff that didn't actually have much land under them to begin with. So that's the reason why New Sag Harbor is now kind of a flotilla, a floating town.
Well,
a quarter the size it used to be, because it was all pretty much burnt to the waterline. So yeah.
The reason I was asking is based on like the fact this floated all the way down from the Foreign District to where New Sag Harbor is, and that's where it got fished out. My thought process is based on the dissection book Darren and I read. Chances are this is a chance for infection through the fish, if this is a fungus, and if it can infect it that way.
If it's something that the fish,
and that's kind of what Alan wants to check, is like compare the sample and like look at the fish, have anything similar going through.
Okay. All right. Are you gonna? So is
I'm buying fish.
Turn and try and fish? Oh, you're gonna buy some fish.
I'm going to. Okay. No, why would I fish? I'm a roaster. I would never bother fishing. Beneath me.
Riona could probably do some bow fishing.
Yes, I mean that's how you. I mean, you could farm for XP that way. I mean, it's. Anyway,
that's not my skill tree.
That one's for everybody who plays an MMO, because they all have some kind of fishing.
Final Fantasy 14 intensifies.
Yes. Okay,
wow,
I mean,
for years.
Dude, there was fishing in City of Heroes, so you know.
But yeah, I want to kind of look at that sample and kind of look at it under the sunlight, see if I can notice anything that maybe they missed out on.
Okay.
And then afterwards say, hey, let's go buy some fish real quick, and then prep a fish and see if there's any fungus like mycelium going through the body.
I have a feel that this is probably not something you're going to pick up with the naked eye. Yeah, because again, fungal spores are, some of this is really small, you know, and I think even the spore sample that Riona's got from the rooftop is not really something you can necessarily see. You know, it's like, it's in here, huh? And Riona's like, yes. You know how I know? Magic. In the bottle, you know. So Riona can literally take a tiny sample of plant and go get in the bottle kind of thing, and do, she doesn't have to see it to know it's there. Everybody else is like, yeah, okay.
Don't open it.
Yeah.
Could we take it to the university?
The sample from the sample, yes, absolutely. They probably, in fact, there's two places that you would know that have, two places that probably have kind of microscopes and things like that to do that kind of scientific inquiry. The university is one. And there's a couple of people in the Foreign District, in the kind of the Camian neighborhood, that mess with this kind of stuff. One of them is the guy that had the observation balloon. He has a very odd house in that the building that he lives in is a building that has like contraptions hanging off of it and things. He's very eccentric and known for that sort of thing. So if anybody besides the university would have something that could spot whatever tiny thing, it probably would be this guy. And I know the next question is, what's his name?
What's his name? And does Riona know him?
Probably knows of. I don't know how much time she spends with.
We don't like Camians.
Gotcha.
If I remember right, there's some fighting over land. If I remember right, yeah.
Cam is Montavni's biggest enemy. We don't like them. We don't associate with them. We know of them. He is not a friend of mine.
Okay. University might be the better course then. Because, you know.
I mean, you could go talk to him. I'm not going to talk to him because I'd probably end up punching him in the face, but...
If you might punch him in the face...
That tracks.
I might... Riona, I respect your judge of character. If you might punch him in the face, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably lose in a fight, but... I'd rather not talk to someone you don't like.
I mean, that covers a lot
Character,
of ground.
he's probably a great guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually
Maybe-
runs like one of the few charities that's approved in Eversync.
Right. Yeah. He's an
Rio just
absolute
doesn't
thing.
like him because he's Camian.
Mhm. Well,
Like, I'm sure he's great. I haven't bothered to find out because where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
all right, then I'll go see him then. I need to
I mean,
stop by
look,
the
you-
fish market anyways and get some different fish from like different areas just to kind of compare.
So, okay. Before we get distracted with this, though, I have a question for the three of you that have finally gotten together in one scene. Do you want to try to get to the aquifer before we finish this episode?
Yeah.
We want to go do that. Really
What's this
quick.
about an aquifer?
Oh, corruption.
It wasn't me.
Immediately.
Do it.
I have been very busy. You can see all the coffee beans that are now gone. Don't drink a lot of coffee out here.
Yeah.
You know what? You're giving them some basically free beverage that has calories in it. It's essentially you're handing out food and food and caffeine. So, there are calories in it, there's caffeine in it, which allows them to be up and looking for work more. And to the best of my knowledge, you haven't been charging anybody, have you?
I
So
haven't
other
actually
than-
been charging them. I've just been pointing out stuff like, hey, do you want to trade me this assumedly useless
Right.
thing?
I mean, just trading stuff because it's the city of commerce. You can't just give stuff away. But yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you've been
And I've been
you've
using
been
their
doing
useless stuff to make statues.
yeah, you've been
Yeah.
exactly. Been doing been making poor business deals, but they're still business deals. So
Mhm.
They took out.
I've just been trading fresh produce for bread, baked goods.
mhm.
Rihanna, we need to
I-
talk about a nutrition plan for these people too.
Okay.
I mean,
Can we talk about it later?
Yes, definitely.
Nunzio would be very interested because these are his people. So yeah.
I would like to spend 3 hours talking about a nutritional pyramid. I'm kidding. Please no. So yeah, aquifer.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, Eversync is a lot more into ziggurats than pyramids, but yeah. And most Eversyncians would not be into any kind of food ziggurat because it's very serpentine. So yeah, I wouldn't. I would maybe, if there was some kind of nutritional obelisk that you could get into, or maybe an arch or something.
We'll workshop it. But yeah,
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
down to go see that aquifer because that's interesting.
Okay.
I didn't do it.
All
So,
Owen
yeah.
knows is there's an aquifer that has corruption that I need Pax's help with.
Mm-hmm. So fair enough, and that is I can see how honestly that makes absolute sense for Alan. Like, I will just drop everything I'm doing and go find out what that's about.
I can buy the fish later. It will be there probably.
I mean, sure. Look, if there's fungus, if I could probably tell you that anybody in Eversync, if you went to you think there's some kind of fungus or disease in the fish in the harbor? It's like, yes, it's canal water. You boil that stuff. You cook that fish. Don't just Who eats raw fish? No.
Sashimi is not a menu item
Not-
in Eversync.
Yeah,
No.
even
Unless
folks,
it is
even,
imported.
Not
I
after
mean, even
the incident.
even folks from Senginese descent. Yeah, you don't make sashimi out of local fish. No.
No.
And as far as oysters go, all the months have R in them. Just just don't. Yeah, there's the seafood that people consume is always cooked and frequently from the bay and the ocean around the city. There's not a lot of you're not going to see a lot of people on the bridges in the city fishing. Maybe doing laundry or something, but not fishing.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. Maybe eels. I mean, there's probably some eels in the canal that people would get and eat. That's probably a local thing, but they're still fried. Anyway, I'm getting on a tangent now. So, meeting Riona's friend is basically it's one of those. there's a you probably actually no.
I
Riona,
told him that I would let them know beforehand when I was
Mhm.
bringing someone so they could clear the area because they didn't want to
Sure.
be present.
Yep. I was gonna say that you've got enough wilderness mastery that you probably remember the way at this point to get there. But yeah, that they wanted to make sure that they were unobserved
Yeah.
if you bring somebody else.
And
So yeah.
they did leave marks to it
Mhm.
for me.
Yeah. And there's probably you have a drop or something where there's a sign. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do a thing and get chalk out and make a mark that you're supposed to make and like, cool, let's get something to eat. What? Yeah, we're gonna grab some food. Just because this episode is all about food. Yeah, it's like you take a little bit of honestly, yeah, because I mean, other than maybe you get the bread out that you got from Bax's parents. Yeah,
that's gonna be
it's
best
like
sooner.
passing out some Ventavni pastries and yeah. So you guys kind of sit on a bench and eat for a minute, and this is good stuff. I mean, it's sweet but it has some kind of meatiness to it and very flaky pastry. And I mean, Pax is like, yeah, I know, my mom does good cooking. It's sure. And Alwyn may not. I don't know if Alwyn's familiar with Ventavni food, but this is nice. I'm kind of like flavor-wise, I'm kind of picturing like a meaty baklava, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like a baklava with like sliced.
Yeah.
It's
Equally
something you
sticky.
make with leftover stew.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. So yeah, but it is good, and basically, Rio probably doesn't say anything, but basically, let's enjoy this meal. And Pax and Alwyn, I don't know. Is there an impatience there? It's like, okay, so we're gonna go do this thing, and now we stop and eat. What?
A little bit.
What?
Pax is like,
Okay.
I forgot I haven't had lunch yet. Yeah, you're right.
"Yeah, let's
Yes,
eat."
Alwyn is ADHD enough to go. I'm not concerned why, but food is a good idea. Yes, but yeah, I could see Riona going. I don't have to tell them why we need to take a break here, but yeah. Anyway, but after you get about 15 minutes, you figure kind of give them some time, and then eat a little pastry, and then kind of go. She basically takes you through like kind of it'd be like the kind of. There's not like in Eversink obvious sewer entrance, right? Because every entrance to sewer was at one point entrance to, just a ground floor apartment or the balcony on the second floor of your house. So it's a fairly normal looking door, but goes into just kind of dark tunnel kind of thing. And you guys, people in Eversink usually have some kind of light or lantern. It's just kind of or at least if you have any kind of job like Pax does, and or prepared enough like Riona is to just have some sort of light source if you're going underground. But yeah, and following Riona, there is no rhyme or reason, but she'll turn and okay, we're going this way now. No indicator that's obvious unless you guys also have wilderness survival to find out. But eventually you kind of come into this room that probably used to be somebody's pool or something. Like I said, it used to be kind of maybe an open area with kind of a well to it, and the area has been domed over because now it's underground and there's probably building on top of it or something. And but yeah, the water is kind of brackish, and coming into this place you can feel the corruption a long time before you get to the room. It is almost a scary place. In fact, our first roll of the night will probably be the only roll of the night, and it'll be near the end because there's a just kind of coming in here, a feeling of dread and fear of this. Something bad happened here. I mean, we know that something bad is corruption, but kind of that visceral in the amygdala, something bad happened here kind of fear. So this is a morale check. So the difficulty on those is 4, but it's a loss of 2. So in that, so basically pass that morale check or lose 2 points of morale. So if you want to spend some points, that's also fine. But you want to hit that. You want to hit that 4. So
Nope, I crit failed.
Cool.
Oh no. I'm going
I got
to
a
Just lose 2.
1 point of morale. Just
yeah. So since you didn't tell me you were going to spend any, yes. So that would.
It was either I spend 2 or. Well,
Wait, you rolled charm.
I rolled charm because I don't have a roll morale button.
It does. It doesn't do a button.
It does not
No, it
have a
doesn't
button.
have a button.
That seems odd. The character sheets are fan made, so I will. That should be a thing that you. I think that should be a thing you should be able to roll because you have to occasionally roll it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I also crit failed with a +1.
I mean, I have
Guys.
morale for days. Morale's my
It's
best.
creepier here without the Radican.
Yeah.
It's
Okay. Well,
comfy.
and so you spent 1 and then lost 2 more. Okay, that's
I'm just
fine.
having
Yeah.
a time.
No. It's just like I said. This place, you're underground. You're now like hopelessly lost if Brianna decides to abandon you. You know, if Rhoda says peace losers, you're like, but yeah. And now, yeah, she's brought.
Die.
Brianna has finally turned heel.
No, I mean that's part of the creepiness of it too. Is like in that space, shadows get longer, or kind of Riona turns like, "Are you okay?" You know, it's like, with like the tattoos and the kintsugi and stuff, the little bits of glow in her arm. It's like, I'm yeah, because it's just like.
Alan 100% whispers to Pax, "You don't think she's brought us down here to kill us, do you? Like, we've known her for a while, but like."
You found out about my fungal magic and the murders I've been doing. No.
I hope not.
Yeah.
But yeah, but this space of corruption is relatively large. And yeah. Also, you guys do have some grit though, right? I believe everybody
I do.
does have
I
grit.
do.
Everybody has grit of 1, so reduce your morale loss by 1. Because I believe everybody does have grit of 1.
Hey,
so
nothing,
that's
lose only 1. Love to see it.
fair enough. Go good. Well, I want to make it like there, but there is some morale loss. There is that kind of just definite creepy feeling, and yeah, and once you get past that feeling of creepy, Pax, you're like on a little bit more familiar ground. Like, oh, I know what that is. Okay, that is an effect of corruption, and that is something that it's just kind of one of those caught you off guard a little bit, or it just honestly, it's something that it's really hard to get around. That's just that you get that creepy feeling, and you kind of have to steel yourself and head into it and fix it. So, but for those of you who are, it's yes, this is stuff that you've had to deal with for work. And for Riona and Alwyn, yes, this is externalized corruption, and it has a particular feel to it in a way. For sorcerers encountering corruption, each one feels a little bit in that it feels different in a way that if you encountered this again, corruption from the same sorcerer, you would know. There is kind of a signature, I suppose. It feels uniquely different. If Riona were to externalize corruption, Alwyn would be able to tell that Riona had done that versus I don't know, Adarin or somebody else.
I have a +1.
Not that either of you would. I know.
I have a +1 with the Sorcerer's Cabal. Would I be able to tell if it's anyone from that party at all?
I would say I would think that if you've been around them, is this the kind of Sorcerer's Cabal that you've been around while they've externalized other corruption? Because that's different.
Okay.
So maybe.
I
think
think
we'll get to those 5. We'll figure out when you tell me about those 5 NPCs that hate your guts.
I guess that Cole reminds me that I have a -1 with Sorcerer's Cabal, and did get in a fight with some of them.
Actually,
I recognize this corruption?
I think maybe it feels vaguely familiar. Yeah, maybe so.
It's a
Maybe
black
so.
currant, a little bit of cherry wood in there.
Right? Oh God. Now, you know, that's the thing. Maybe that's how it feels to Alwyn, because Alwyn does coffee, so he's gonna like compare it to like coffee tastes and stuff. But Riona maybe has the smell of plant. Has, you know, everybody's got their own thing that they view it through, and it usually has to do with their own sorceress spheres, kind of thing. So yeah,
Smells like dandelions.
right. That's why, yeah, sorcerers have a hard time talking to one another. Usually because nobody wants to out themselves as a sorcerer, but also this. But yeah, so for
This is what I needed your help with, Pax.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I'm gonna try to do my thing with it.
okay, so I will tell you this mechanically. Someone here has externalized 3 points of corruption. This if left alone, this would heal on its own in 50 years or so.
But I don't want to leave it that long.
It couldn't have been me, because I only have 1 point of corruption.
In the meantime, it will be corrupted. You know, this is the trick that this is, you know, this is a well. This is someone's poisoned the water hole.
I'm gonna find out who did it.
There's a snake in my boot. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Oh joy.
Anyway,
So could have been Alwyn.
Couldn't have been
Use
me.
3 corruption. It could have been Alwyn.
Doesn't smell like me. Could
I don't know. Have you ever externalized corruption around anybody else so they would know that it's anyway? I need you to cast a big spell right now so we can tell it's not you. Wait,
hey, hold on.
Max going, no, that is not the way.
Could I help out Pax since I have that 1 point of spirit sight?
Yes, you may.
Just to help, you know,
Because
Pax can at least have that 1 point
basically the way that is done, there is a ritual, a method that the members of the church that do this thing for a living know how to do, and it is essentially putting power of the goddess back into this space. I mean, you can clear corruption with doing commerce, which is why, you know, you hear stories about sorcerers, you know, doing big spells in Temple Market, and that's bad, but there's so much commerce that goes on in Temple Market that the corruption gets just eaten up that much more quickly. But, you know, no one's going to come down here to do business deals for anything. So putting power of the goddess back into it to shrink it. This requires a minimum of 3 points of spirit sight in a session, and a total of 9 points of spirit sight to clear completely. So this would be something that you can do, but it will take some time.
Yeah, I'd have to come back a couple times.
Yeah, literally some investigative spending. And my question is, are you going to hold any? You could hold back a point. Alwyn could hold back a point, because if you need that spirit sight spend for something later in the adventure, if you think you might.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, you'll still be able to use it to get clues, but won't be able to spend it to get extra stuff unless you hit your drive, which lets you get back a point of an investigative skill. So, I mean, this is certainly a good cause to spend it, but I'm letting you know that if, you know, for after we get back from break, that it will be a thing where you've not got points to spend until you get them back. So yeah, up to you. So I mean, do you want to do the thing? And if you do the thing between the two of you, how many points of spirit sight would you like to pump into this to kind of clear this up?
So do you still want to put your 1 point in?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, because I was gonna.
I need help get rid of the evidence.
Oh my god. I'm trying to see if I want to do 2 or 3 of mine.
Since when did you learn plant magic, Alwyn?
Yeah. I was leaning towards decay and entropy because that immediately gets me aligned to fungus.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah?
But
Well, now you guys
I
just
think
may be
pretty
talking about
sure.
the spheres of the sorcerer who actually did do this, whether it's Alwyn or not.
yeah. But I definitely want to do this just to kind of mess with the mechanics a little bit. There's no way I can take
get your toe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no way I can take this externalized corruption and force it back into me to force it to be internalized again. There's
Correct.
no way I can do
Correct.
that. Okay, cool.
Correct.
Siphon it back out.
Well, yeah. If you
Yeah.
burn a patch of ground, you can't unburn it, and
Yeah.
You know.
If you have plant magic, maybe.
We've got Riona. We
And-
can do that.
I feel like that there's a line of diminishing returns. How many points of corruption do you want to spend in plant magic to heal this corruption? Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
Oh god. But yeah, okay. Yeah, Alwyn will help like complete the ritual with Pax to spend their 1 point of spirit sight.
Okay. Just to keep some of mine, just in case we need it for next session, I'm gonna go ahead and do 2, and
Okay.
then spend it.
Alright.
And, like, this kind of plays into one of my drives because it's about keeping the city safe.
Actually, it
And-
does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
My purpose
Well,
is
then-
to uphold Denari's.
This is
Whatever.
exactly your work. So okay. Yeah.
This is what we do.
Yeah. And are you making a case that'll hit more than one of your drives? That's my next question.
My drives are currently being rewritten. So
That's fair.
not at the moment.
Okay. Well then,
Actually, I do a
fair
lot right
enough.
now.
But so cool. So you spend 2, and Alwyn spends 1, and so basically about a third of the damage is kind of undone.
Mhm.
That doesn't unfortunately make the water drinkable yet, but it definitely feels like immediately less scary in here. It's that the lines of shadow on Riona's face soften and aren't really. Oh, it's just dark. It's not.
Not spooky.
I'm not going to say Riona's not scary, but she's not like immediately scary right now, kind of thing. And yeah, it feels less bad. It also
I'll go
feels
back
like
and work
it
on this
needs
one.
work.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If Pax, your instinct would be, this is something that there are people to help with. You could bring other people down here and have this cleared up faster if you
Talk to
knew
my
where
mentor.
here was.
I could talk to my mentor, but I don't know how to get here, so you may have to help.
My friends prefer not to have the church down here, which is why I
Okay, then
brought
this is
you.
gonna take me a lot longer.
Well,
'Cause
at
I gotta-
at least
That was
At
hard.
least a couple. Yeah. Oh yeah. I get it.
The bags under Pax's eyes that have been there since before the sighting day just intensified a little bit more. So it's just like, that's gonna take a long
yeah.
time.
We should find
Yeah,
someone
I
else who
mean-
can come down here.
it looks like this is taking a lot out of Pax. I mean, that's half your spirit sight, like in one drop, really.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
I will check with my friends.
Uh-oh.
oh dear. Okay.
Goodbye.
But
guys.
anyway,
Keep going. I'm good.
fair enough. I got you.
I live.
Tech issues in your coffee and the tech issues. Yeah, exactly. Somehow got in the wires. Fair enough. But yeah, I think on that point, knowing that we're going to have to come back and work on this a little bit, but also that I think we may have to have a scene with Riona and their friends just to kind of go. I think there's some more information there, but I think we can pick that up next time. And because I think we are hitting that point. And I don't necessarily have a cliffhanger so much as that there's probably maybe PAX goes into work the next day or some point. It has to check in at some point. I mean, you're probably still helping family out and things like that, but there's like, look, I know savior of the city and all, but you do have to at least report in every once in a while. And just kind of going into the office, everyone has bags under their eyes. Everyone looks worn out from this kind of thing. And you ask around that there have been several places in the city, not just here, where corruption has been externalized, and kind of comparing notes, it all seems to have happened on signing.
Fuck.
And on that note, we're going to cut. Thanks for coming, everybody. That's a perfect place to stop. Bam. So good. If I was a director and if I had a way to do it, that and then credits. Yes.
And cut.
Yeah.
I mean, but then folks wouldn't get to know where all these wonderful people are, Pulsar.
Exactly. So just just picture in your head that, and then like executive producer Dick Wolf.
Oh, Dick Wolf.
Anyway, yes. So thank you everyone for tuning in to Denari's Half Dozen this week. I have been Commander Pulsar, your GM, and I've had a great time playing Swords of the Serpentine from Pelgrane Press, written by Kevin Culp and Emily Dresner. To be found at Kevin Culp and at Multiplexer on Twitter, and at Pelgrane Press and pelgranepress.com. And you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Commander Pulsar, where I do this, and on Sunday I build Lego stuff, and my current obsession with Horizon Zero Dawn is in building a Horizon Zero Dawn tall neck for a Lego set, because that was really cool. I absolutely had to have it, so we're building it. Anyway, I will say for our outros, let's do Alwyn. Tell us about.
Yeah. Hi there, y'all. I am Cole. I have played Alwyn for the evening. I am definitely not guilty. I am 100% innocent. And you can find me here on Huntsman's Hydra every Tuesday. And you can also find me here again Sunday, 2 p.m. EST, where I'll be playing Tristero Valentine for Fire in the Dark, our Blades in the Dark actual play. You can also check out Inside the Table, a tabletop talk show that my friend Manar Lenahan and I do bi-weekly. We have a new episode coming out tomorrow where we continue our thoughts about Fathom and talk about GMing and GM principles. I think that's everything I got. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch and Instagram over at Ice Cold Brew. And let's throw it over to Aki.
Hi, my name is Aki. You can find me at various places on the internet. Sorry, I have to be quiet. It's after 10 o'clock and my siblings are asleep. You can find me pretty much anywhere on the internet at It's Aki. That was a weird way of pronouncing my name. It's been a day. I do variety streams here on Twitch as It's Aki, multiple times a week, as well as, of course, playing here. I am also a fiber artist, and I have a streamathon coming up at the end of this month where we'll be playing games with chat. I'm going to be trying a couple new games with the lovely Kitty. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and send this on over to Kitty.
Hey, I'm Kitty. I'm a freelance artist and a fantasy writer and editor. I make custom fantasy maps. I'm working on one in the background, that side of me, for Desert Bus for Hope this year. If you don't know about Desert Bus for Hope, go to desertbus.org. It's a charity event for Child's Play charity. What else do? I make 3D MTG card art altars. That is a mouthful. And I also paint miniatures. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Wizardly Kitty, or on DeviantArt as Caffeinated Kitty, or also on Twitch as Caffeinated Kitty. I'll be on Aki's birthday stream at the end of the month. And I will also be starting my own art stream in August. Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Allen. I am one half of Charm Person Games, queer women-owned professional game master for hire service. You can book with us at charmpersongames.com. You can find us on Twitter at charmpersongame. singular because of Twitter character limits that are very annoying. And also, I make overlays and starting soon screens and all of that jazz. So you can reach out to me. Discord is probably the best place to reach out to me, but you can also reach out to me on Twitter. I'm real cheap, so you can hire me for that. And then you can catch me back here next week at for more Denari's Half Dozen, and you can also book with games that I and my business partner do on startplaying.io. We're there now.